5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train under trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train under trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
What an amazing day to be alive, and what an amazing day for the Apple mouse that came with the computer to have the batteries die right as the intro's going. I couldn't even turn on the camera. Dude, that's insane. By the way, just so that everybody knows, I really hate having a mouse that's got batteries in it. Do you guys hate that, by the way? Does anyone out there have a mouse with batteries in it? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, dude, it's 10 o'clock. I got the thing started at 10. I'm like, woo, buddy. I am on the ball. Super dupe professional today, son. Super professional. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play this intro. And I click on it and it starts playing and I get ready and I made sure to have the mic going. So the mic is on. The mic is on today. So everything was going great. And right as I'm about to click it, all of a sudden the cursor just disappears. Cursor. Oh, man. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremiah Bannister.
Meeting.
We're going to go ahead and take that thing off.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. We're going to keep the main banner on.
5,
Forget that.
4,
Forget that.
3,
That's like multiple
2.
bad. That's like multiple bad. What is happening? Oh, my gosh. I love you guys. I love this show. I better change that. I had better change this. Oh, my gosh. Good morning. What is it? Tuesday, October 27th. Here's the thing. I haven't had my coffee yet. Oh, yeah. Holy Faith says it's better than a mouse with a pull cord. Dude, no way. No way, bro. Yeah, but dude, you're younger than I am. You know what I mean? I'm 42 years old. I'm 42 years old. I'm used to those kinds of things. People are like, oh, dude, cell phones are like way better than those phones on your wall. And I'm like, no, not really. Not really. You know, the cost factor, right? It's like, well, but you can't bring it out in the car. And I'm like, yeah, and you also can't die with it while you're looking at it in the car. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Adam. It's good to see you in the chat. By the way, you're doing a great job, Adam. You are doing a great job in life. I saw not only that you were on the news, I heard your voice, man, on the news, talking about Trump, talking about making sure that the Democrats don't get away with the big steal. They're trying. But more than that, you have done your part in the Great Animal Uprising and fighting back, dude. I saw you took down a deer. Was it just one, or was it more than one? Oh yes, look at this, Eugene. Hello, everyone. Watching from the Philippines. Yeah, dope. Yes, thank you very much, Eugene, for tuning in. Look, you're over in the Philippines. We got a guy who tunes in from India. So we've got people, man, from all over. This is obviously a global show. We're talking global domination stuff, guys. That's what we're doing. It's global domination stuff. Let's see if we can go ahead and get that main screen back up without causing any problems. Because what happened was yesterday I had the main screen set up in such a way. I did something silly. I'm using this program where you create different scenes. And it's like a TV show. You click on the scene and it switches. Well, for some reason, rather than creating a separate scene yesterday for the epic expose, the great leak that we got over at Paleocrat, they've got them all. They've got them all. A really deep inside source that released this information from Dr. Derek about just, kind of the coronavirus 101 tips and analysis from Dr. Derek. And it was just hilarious, but I had it in this scene and I didn't remove it. It wasn't a separate scene. So it's kind of jumbled in with all these other things, and I switch over and all of a sudden, blah, it's back on. I said, oh my gosh, we're a professional show, guys. I want to say, first of all, before we move on, no further ado, right? We got a lot to talk about, but I want to say this. I want to say thank you to a number of people who have subscribed over at PaleocratDiaries.com. It's awesome. You know what I mean? Because number one, you're not getting overwhelmed with stuff, right? We're not sending you a bunch of garbage. We're not spamming you. We're not sending you stupid emails or being like, oh yeah, we need your phone number so we can start texting you. We don't do that. We're posting what you need, right? What you deep down inside long for. And that is for daily shows. And not just daily shows, but timestamps that let you just click on it and boom, you're right there, baby. You are right there. You go immediately to the spot that you love the most, right? And so you say, man, that one scene cracked me up. I want to show my wife. I want to show my husband. I want to show coworkers, whatever. You just click on it and bam, you're there. And then, of course, we've got the links because people want to know. They say, man, I see that you talk about articles. You mention them. You mention the author, all this other stuff. But we like to read them too and maybe share one of those articles. So I make sure to put every single one in there. So those go to you. You also get any update that I have that has to do with Meaning of Catholic. You also get any update that I have to do with Paleo Cheese. In fact, one is going up today. And the one yesterday, I even included it has to be like 10 years old maybe right now. A 10-year-old video where I'm with my buddy Chad, the award-winning author, my boy Chad Lutsky, the other host at Paleo Cheese, and we were reviewing a movie called Laser Blast. And I was saying yesterday it's one of the worst movies that's ever been made. And we dressed up in tinfoil. It was a whole bunch of fun. It was a great time. And I actually shared that link in that blog yesterday. And of course, we also post blogs. So every once in a while, you'll get something personal, like I did the one about the lessons about life and faith and freedom that I learned on the back of my dad's Goldwing, and about how my kids learned to, they rode on a motorcycle for their first time, right? So they didn't learn to ride. They hopped on back. I can just imagine, right? Little guys, really, really little dudes. Oh my gosh. But people have signed up. You got Levon. You got a Coker. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing them properly. But I just wanted to mention them. What is that? Reprobus. Yeah. Reprobus. And Cherie. So Cherie, you may see Cherie often here in the chat room. Good friend, actually. Spent the weekend, her and her husband and their family. It's a really great time. In fact, I got a video from them before they came of their children dancing around to the Wolfgang song, to the Wolfpack song, which is, we haven't played that, and it's been actually really bumming me out. I'm getting really depressed about it, actually, not gonna lie. So make sure if you want to subscribe and get everything that we have right away, make sure go to PaleocratDiaries.com. All right, everybody. So moving on real quick, if you want to join me, I'm doing this whole NaNoWriMo. Do any of you guys know what that is? Do you guys even know what NaNoWriMo is? It's kind of a weird thing. What is it? National November Writing Month 2020? And good morning to you, Michael. I see you in the comment section. I see all of you in the comment section. So whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or Periscope or wherever you are, I don't think I've ever gotten one from DLive. I don't really know how that works. Or Twitch, right? So if you're out there on Twitch or you're out there on DLive, let me know. But if you want to do NaNoWriMo, it's that National November Writing Month, okay? So the idea, what is it? 1,667 words per day. And the idea is that if you write that many words per day, you have written the equivalent of a novel by the end of the month, right? The standard thing for novel. So I have joined this. I'm buddied up with my friend Chad, right? Because he's a real pro. He's award-winning. He's got a lot of amazing things going for him. Just released the cover of his newest book, Wormwood. Really amazing cover. He has a great artist for that. He has a number of really great covers. In fact, hold on a second. I don't normally do this. But you see this? This right here is the cover of one of my favorite books. Yeah, Skullface Boy, written by Chad Lutsky. An absolutely amazing book. Does it have his picture in here? Yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. It's in black and white, so I don't really know if. Oh yeah, there he is. Let's see. See if you can see that. Well, I don't know if you can see his face. It's kind of blurry. There he is. Yeah, Studley dude, really cool guy. But I'm over there. I'm buddied up with him, and I'm doing this NaNoWriMo thing. And so, I'm pretty pumped up about it and seeing if I want to get through, I want to get through a portion of the book that I've been working on, and I want to do not necessarily a full novel. I won't have time for that, but to do like a novella, you know what I'm saying? Something smaller, so that by the end of that month, I've technically got 2 books that are complete. So if you want to add me, make sure to go over to NaNoWriMo. That's NaNoWriMo.org. Make sure to go over there. All right, everybody, we're going right away. We've spent already too much time. This one comes from a friend of mine named Atticus. Super amazing guy. We were supposed to get together, actually, this past week. And it's just been too busy. There's just no way. In fact, I'm not going to lie, I've debated actually trimming the show down to about an hour and a half for a period of time, because with the election coming up and me being a delegate, it's just been kind of through the roof. It's been insane. There's no sleep. There's no sleep for the diligent me. And so it's been kind of a weird thing. I've debated it. Right? I don't want to hurt anybody. Okay? Don't want to hurt anybody. Yeah. By the way, Vicky, hello from Cincinnati. You're one of the redeeming qualities of Ohio, by the way, Vicky. There's not many. There's not many. I'm a Michigander. I'm a Wolverine. I'm allowed to get away with this. It's a rivalry, and you know it. So I'm really glad that you are tuning in, Vicky, from Cincinnati. Yeah. But, yeah, happy birthday, Hillary. Because what was it? Yesterday was Hillary's birthday. And at the same time, we got Amy Coney Barrett. Yes, you can do a big, huge clap for that. There's going to be a lot of lefties. Well, there already are. I don't know. Did you guys see those videos going around yesterday? A lot of and they're almost always ladies. You know what I mean? What's up with that? Because we got a lot of ladies that watch the show. Okay, not all ladies are cuckoo pants. That's obvious. In fact, it's kind of an even split. It's just not very good. You're kind of at the 50-50 margin. Our ladies need to ramp it up a little bit on this. Well, I'm trying to get the boys to ramp it up. Okay, I'm trying to get the boys to up their game. I need the ladies to up theirs. Okay, we need the ladies out there pushing really hard because there's a lot of loon birds out there. A lot of these crazy chicks making TikToks, and they're sitting there, and they're just bawling. I'm so afraid for my life. I'm so terrified for my existence. No, you're not. No, you aren't. You're going to go and you're going to buy some chicken nuggets, right? You're going to buy some ice cream at the store, and you're not going to be like carrying a dagger wondering if somebody's going to come up and hurt you. You are not afraid for your life. You are, you're making stuff for the simps. That's what you're doing. You're making stuff for the simps, the political simps, the sexual simps, all of them together. They gobble up your stuff because you're banking on the fact that men and women are different and the people genuinely are concerned when they see a lady crying. You know, because most ladies historically have not been Matildas. They haven't been Matildas. You know, but this is really a case of Matilda. I don't know. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say a case of Matilda? Do you guys know? My son Ambrose, he recited the entire poem. It's put together. Actually, it's part of this book. If you don't have this book, I strongly suggest you get it. It's called Cautionary Tales and Bad Child's Book of Beasts. Hilary Belloc. It's actually 2 books here. Go ahead and just put that in the frame. Yeah, I got this. It's got some amazing stories, man. What's the one of Matilda here? Let's see. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll read Matilda, because this is where we are with a lot of this stuff, man. Whenever you're talking about, and a guy can be a Matilda too. This is a lesson for everybody. This isn't just a lesson for ladies, right? Crying wolf. But here we go. So you got Matilda, okay? And think of the lesson that we're going to learn here, because this is true, and we're going to see this play throughout the entire show, okay? So I'll just read it to you. Why not? I'll break precedent. All right, man. Make sure you get your coffee. If you got your coffee, raise it super dupe high, okay? Make sure you got your straw. If you don't have a coffee, make sure you got your favorite thing, you know, whether it's hot cocoa, you know, maybe some booze. Straight to the dome. Because we're howling at the sun for another day. We're starting off with Matilda. Okay? I'll break precedent. It's my diaries. I can do this. All right. Matilda, who told lies and was burned to death. By Hilary Belloc. Matilda told such dreadful lies. It made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth. And here's Matilda, by the way. We'll go ahead and just put Matilda up there. Okay. So she's looking, you know, she's kind of rich, but she's got one of those faces that, you know, tick everybody off a little bit. Attempted to believe Matilda. The effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, toward the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play, and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone, and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Within an hour, the gallant band were pouring in on every hand. From Putney, Hackney, Downs, and Bow, with courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped roaring through the town. Matilda's house is burning down. And I like the drawings in here. Okay, so she's called the brigade. As I said, we got these Matildas. We got these Matildas all over the place that are, and they're calling in the brigade. And this is true with hoaxing. This is true with all the race hoaxes. It's true with all the oh my gosh, he shamed me for this or for that. Oh my gosh, this person is a racist. Oh my gosh, this person is a fascist. Call in the brigade. Inspired by British cheers and loud proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the ballroom floor, and took peculiar pains to souse the pictures up and down the house, until Matilda's aunt succeeded in showing them that they were not needed. That's what we're doing, by the way. That's what we're doing here. We're saying, look, some people are just talking out of their rear ends. And some people just lose their minds, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like so freaked out, or oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. And you go, honestly, if we kind of look over your history, you don't know jack. You know nothing. You know nothing about what's going on. Yeah. And even then, she had to pay to get the men to go away. Isn't that true? It's true all the time. Look, this is proverbially true. You have to pay the people. And say, look, it's not free. Jussie Smollett, that whole shenanigan thing was not free. There was a price tag to that. The NASCAR hoax with the hoax. It wasn't free. There's price tags to this, man. And not just like money, but also societally, interpersonally. It happened that a few weeks later, her aunt was off to the theater to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She'd refused to take her niece to hear this entertaining piece, a deprivation just and wise to punish her for telling lies. Don't you wish people were getting punished for this stuff, by the way? So often people aren't even getting punished. These take people online, and maybe part of that's like, well, you know, we in society, we also have a responsibility to like not watch these people. You know, if you see TikTok down at the bottom, unless it's mine or unless it's Dr. Derek's, you really probably don't even need to see it. Oh, there's a couple more. There is a couple more. I got some people that I like on it. Not gonna lie. Let's see. That night a fire did break out. Okay, so that night, there actually was a fire. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard her scream and bawl and throw the window up and call to people passing in the street, the rapidly increasing heat, encouraging her to obtain their confidence, but all in vain. For every time she shouted, "Fire!" they only answered, "Little liar!" And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and her house were burned. Dude, straight up, truth-telling Hillary Belloc. Yeah, we can start with that. I hope you guys enjoyed that, by the way. I don't think I've ever started a show like this, but this is true. You got all these people talking about all the danger, and they're talking about all the stuff that's like, oh my gosh, the whole world's coming down. They were wrong, dude, repeatedly wrong. It's one of the reasons why democracy might not be the best idea. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the best. We got a lot of dummies making crazy decisions. Yeah, James in the comment section, sorry I'm a little late to comment. Broke my dominant hand on Saturday, so typing is difficult. Dude, sorry to hear that, man. I've never broken a hand. Never broken a hand. And not yet. Not yet. I'm hoping I never do, man. I'm really hoping I never do. Here, hold on. Got to get a refill already, man. Already. We got a lot ahead of us. And I said, earlier that I was thinking about shortening the show, and then I go and I do something like that. But I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, so it was a birthday. It was Hillary's birthday. And of course, she's, still boo-hooing it up. I'm the real person that Trump stole it from. I bet you she's a lot like, what is it, Gore Vidal. Gore Vidal, him and William F. Buckley Jr., they got in this, spat. It was a historical spat, by the way. All right? It was the first time that the GD word was ever used on TV, and it was by the conservative guy, by the Catholic guy. The gay atheist guy, he's just grinning because he knew that he trolled him. But the thing is, Gore Vidal, for the rest of his life after that, that was like one of those moments, like those 40-year-old guys or, 50-year-old guys that are kind of defined by a couple of years in high school, and the rest of their life is like stuck in those couple of years. Gore Vidal was that way. He did a lot more after that. No, he did some, great things, whatever. But he was always really like hooked on that. And he had pictures around the house of this. And even in his bathroom, he'd get in a bathtub and do his bubble bath stuff. And up across the way from him was a picture of that moment. I kind of feel like Hillary's doing that with the election. But she lost, which makes it even grosser. Like, you lost. Ugh, Plus, it's Hillary. We all know. We all know about that. And so, the thing is, is that yesterday was her birthday, and she's out there boo-hooing it up. For my birthday, I should be president running for re-election. And you're like, oh, but you lost. In fact, you got crushed because we deal with the Electoral College. That's the way America works, and we will fight for this because we know what it means to be run by the mob, and we want nothing to do with that. We've seen it, especially over the summer with Black Lives Matter and with Antifa. But yesterday, for the birthday, we had Amy Coney Barrett. She ended up being... she's now a Supreme Court justice. Super excited about that. Super excited about that. Elise says, fear. Yes, that's what everybody's pushing. Except for KFC. And maybe KFC should be pushing a little bit harder on the fear factor. You know, there's a lot of diabetes going on with KFC. You know what I'm saying? KFC is selling its fried chicken scented fire logs at Walmart. Back for a third year. Have you guys had these, by the way? I've heard of these. I definitely need to buy one of these. I might need to buy one massive container of them. Because I'd probably burn those all day long. I'd burn them in the car. I say, you know, people are like, man, your car smells really great. And you're like, yeah, it's actually fire logs. And you're like, you burn that in the car? I'm like, yes, I do. I burn the herbs and spices fire log. Oh my gosh, just look at it, guys. Just look at that. It kind of makes me hungry, though. By the way, for all of you guys out there that still eat that kind of stuff, because I haven't eaten anything like that in a minute. I wanted to. I almost did. I almost broke. A while back, right? Because I've been doing good, guys. Been doing good. Losing that weight, shedding it off, like some snake skin. And so the thing is like, drove by, and I was thinking, is KFC the place that has the donut chicken sandwich? Because if it does, I might need to make an exception for that. Might need to do it. Oh my gosh. That looks so good, guys. Good morning, by the way. Oh, what's this? Oh, cool. You guys like independent wrestling and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I kind of enjoy that. You know, I like watching some independent stuff. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, this is like this is raw. I mean, this is, you know, out in somebody's backyard and stuff. So you don't know what's really going on with this. Let's see. Maybe it's like a nacho... Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see here. Connection was lost for a second. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not good. Not good. Dude, don't even do this. Do not even do this. Oh, no. Because that's going to affect all the other videos. No. No. All right, well, that one loads. We're going to go ahead and just do stuff that we don't need that for. Make sure that all you guys are still with us. Okay? If it ends up doing that where it's just like, you know, the spiral of death for a long time, that's really going to upset me. That's really, really, really going to upset me. I have like the worst, I must have like the worst signal here. I got to get out of this dungeon, guys. I got to get out of the dungeon. Yeah. Because now it is just not loading up. No way. No way. We're not playing that game. Not playing that game. All right. If you're driving alone in your car with a mask on, you don't need a Biden sticker. We already know. Okay. I saw somebody post this on Facebook, right? And there were people in the comments section that were like really, really mad about it. I mean, really ticked off. They were like, you know what? We care about people's lives. And I'm like, dude, you're not getting the qualifier. If you are alone in the car, if you're alone in the car, you know, why don't you get some disinfectant wipes, you know, when you're done, you know, wipe it down. Make sure, you know, you don't have any droplets or something, you know, but if you're alone in your car and you're driving around and you got the mask and, you know, then the thing is, the person who got really, really mad about it. It's like a person riding their bike out in the countryside. And you drive by in a car and the person's like making sure, you know, putting their arm out, making sure your car is socially distanced. And you look and the person's got a mask. Well, your car better be socially distanced, actually. Especially out in the country. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They've got themselves, you know, some kind of measuring tape that they've duct taped to their front of their body. To make sure that anybody passing by, it's like, you better not touch that measuring tape. I've got it set to 6 feet. And you're like, oh my gosh, dude, you are definitely voting for Biden. There's just no doubt about it, man. There's no doubt about it. Dude, no. This is wrong, man. This is so wrong. I don't understand what's going on with that and why we can't watch any of these. Yeah. That's really offensive because, dude, I've got a bunch of really good ones. Which one was this? Oh, don't even know. Don't even know. All right, we're going to do this. Oh, will we even be able to watch that? Oh, dude. Okay, guys, we may have to do some stop motion. We might have to suspend that disbelief again, like it's claymation. We're going to do old-fashioned stuff and be like, all right, look, this is what is happening now. We're going to play that game because I'm telling you, this is messed up. This is some messed up stuff. Yes, James says, blame Apple. Ailey says, yes, KFC was the one that had the donut chicken. All right, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear you are on the ball. Although not sure about people being on the ball when it comes to the connection at the house, Ailey. The connection at the house is bad. Oh, I don't even know if I have my oh, I don't even have the intercom to complain. Ailey, I know you hear me. You and the staff upstairs. Wolfgang. It's probably Wolfgang. Watch. Priest raises his hand to bless little girl. She high-fives him instead. Oh, yeah, great. Probably a Chinese super spreader. You know it. You know that's what's going on. Over 2 million views for this adorable video. A priest was left in stitches after he raised his hands to bless the little girl and gave him a high five instead. The girl's innocent gesture. See, this is bad journalism, by the way. NDTV. Really bad journalism. You don't say innocent. You have no idea. You can just say the girl's gesture. If you say innocent, you're kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they're not an intentional super spreader. The girl's innocent. And they'll say, oh, but she's a girl. And you're like, oh, yeah, she's a little girl. Oh, yeah, she's definitely trying to play up the innocence factor. See that? I mean, that's just, little curls, looking super cute, wearing the flowers in her hair, white dress. Oh, this is obvious. She's just screaming spy. She's screaming it. The girl's innocent gesture has gone viral on social media and made millions of people smile. How do you even know that? How do you even know? It might have made people really rankled up. There might have been a lot of people. In fact, maybe millions. Did you take a poll? How do you know that? Have you done a scientific study? I'll wait to hear. Chances are that it will leave you with a big smile on your face, too. Chances are. And you know what? Here's the thing. We can't watch it. We can't watch this. I think I've got, I don't know if I still have Jonathan in the chat. If Jonathan's in the chat, man, let me know, and I'll ask you a question. I just want to know, man, if you're in the chat, Jonathan, he's the manager of the show. He's the bigwig. He's the grand poobah of this program and of the network, man. This guy is the boss. Just need to know, if I switch over, man, to Wi-Fi instead of this ether cable, man, is that going to drop me? Because I don't want to get dropped off, man. I don't want to be like, oh, where did he go? It's over, I guess. Not on this, man. Not on this. Viral footage shows a little girl dressed in a fancy white frock with flowers in her hair, standing in front of a priest. After reciting a prayer, the priest raises his hand to bless her, and to his surprise and amusement, she puts up her hand and high-fives him. The video was uploaded to TikTok. I knew it! I knew it. Deep down inside, I'm like, man, this mom's TikToking it up, man. Somebody in that family is TikToking it up for OnlyFans. Probably a bunch of evil spies. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. What the heck? Okay, there we go. Yeah, even my mouse is getting all whacked out. I gotta know. Howdy, CF. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, Ailey, if you want to come down and check out the internet, because it's also affecting the battery. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, this battery is low, so I might need a couple new batteries. It's what it says on the thing here. It keeps telling me it's disconnected, then connected, and I'm like, I can't change anything. Is this true, by the way, guys? Flu cases down 95%. Is that true? Have people been saying that? Flu cases are down. No, they're not, dude. Money Down says that. What's by the way? What would be the likelihood of that? What would be the likelihood of that? That the flu, right? In 2019, 1,251, and magically this year we've had 61 cases. That's like one a state, by the way. What's the likelihood of that? What are the odds of that? Dude, this is serious shenanigan land, dude. Serious shenanigan land. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see here. Is this playing through the through those speakers there for you guys? I don't know if it is. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, not seeing that at all. We're gonna go ahead and just go. Let's just try the iShow capture and see if that works. No. Not seeing that either. That's so insane. It might be because of the, it might be because of the, let's see, record stream. Yeah, no. We'll just go ahead and just play it through the loudspeakers. It's going to totally suck.
Be afraid of Cordova.
Let's see.
Don't let it dominate your life. Stop. Are you serious?
Hold on a second. What did she just say?
President Trump. Don't be afraid of Cordova.
Dude, I don't know if you guys heard that, man. I'm not going to do that. That's wicked janky. It is wicked janky, dude. Oh my gosh. She said Cronova. What? President Trump. You're telling us not to be afraid of Cronova. Dude, what is Cronova? Do you guys know what Cronova is? Let me know in the comments section, man. Is this some like Scientologist crap? What is Cronova? Yeah. Yeah, in the comment section, MMSU31. Every death is listed as COVID related as well in the lockdowns. Dude, there's a lot of it. Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding, Ailey. I need you down here. I'm not kidding. I need you down here because the battery keeps going in and out to this mouse. I thought that I had good batteries, and I don't. These batteries are bad. I need you down here, girl. Yeah. So no idea, man, why this ain't working. Why? I wish that there was a way, where it's like, oh, okay, well, this is, yeah, you can kind of hear it. Yeah, you can't. The thing is, man, we'll put it in the comment section. Or actually, yeah, you know what? We're gonna do this, man. We're gonna do this. Let me see if I can open this up. Oh. What's that? I know they are. Yeah, my lights are green, but trust me, it's not happening. It's also not happening here with the audio. So not entirely sure what that is about. So the thing is though, is this lady saying Cronova. Let me see if I can play it again. Oh, and it finally did it. There we go. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it would happen. Professional show, guys. We're so freaking professional. We're the most professional show in the whole world that's ever been made. No show is more professional than this show. None. Zero. Absolutely none. We're very professional. Trust me. I never lose my cool. I never do. Oh no! First murder hornet? Dude, who's naming this crap? Who's naming this, dude? Oh my gosh, man. Oh. Let's see here. In the comments, KMO 9000. Thought you'd be interested to know that my employer is going to be providing mental health support during the upcoming election. Oh, dude, I'm very glad to hear that. I don't blame them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're like hardcore, liberal weirdos and stuff. If I owned a business and let's say I'm an equal opportunity employer, I'm employing people that I know might be SJWs in private. They might be bubble blowing, Play-Doh rolling weirdos, that kind of thing. But the thing is like those people, let's say they're a really good worker, but they got this weird thing going on. I would say, look, it's a legit mental illness. Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome is a legit mental illness. I think that these people don't understand, and maybe there's like a lot of information that can be, here. I'll let you go ahead. I'll let you do that. Okay. So there's a lot of information, that we can gather maybe to say like, what if somebody's traumatized? Let's say let's say somebody undergoes a psyop, which is what happened in 2016. Right, and we've been kind of going through psyop land ever since. But 2016 was mega dupe psyop, right? Super dupe psyop. And so you go through this, you don't realize what's going on. It's amplified by the idiocracy known as social media. So everybody's like, and they're all wigged out, barely able to sleep. But that's also kind of this tension, because on the other hand, they're like, whoo, it's going to be over because there's like a 100% chance Hillary will win. And then that night happens. Then election 2016 happens and everything explodes in the brain, man. Their brain's seeping out their eyeballs. Breaking down. Completely breaking down, man. I saw it. Anybody who has seen the Young Turks, okay? Anyone who's seen that Young Turks video of the election night knows exactly what I mean. But that's trauma. That's traumatizing to that person. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not sure about the internet, by the way. I'm really grateful I've got Ailey here. Why don't you wave to everybody real quick? Just peek around the corner and just wave. Yeah. It's my mega hot assistant. Oh, there she is. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, you can come right here and say hi. Yeah, this is my mega hot assistant, Ailey. You got to get down, right? You're in the camera right there. See it? Yeah, wave to everybody. Dude, look at that hair, everybody. Yeah. I got the best secretary. I am the mayor from the Powerpuff Girls. Just saying, guys. Just saying. I am the mayor. Yeah, hold on a second, eh? Hold on a second, Ailey. Okay, there we go. We're connected. Good. Good. But the thing is, what happens when somebody's traumatized? What happens, man, when they're traumatized, but they don't realize that they're traumatized? They won't admit that they're traumatized. They won't get help for their trauma. And instead, they just keep on going and interpreting the remainder of the last 4 years? Are you crazy? These people, man, their world is literally, this is like what cults do to people, by the way. It is. What's happened to so many people on the left is what happens to cults. When you disorient people, when it's a constant barrage of stuff that you are assured is totally true and it proves out to be false, and you watch and you see that it doesn't even matter anymore if stuff is actually proven to be false. It doesn't even matter. They just keep on going. They keep on going. J.I. Gibbet. Yeah, you can ask a question. Yeah. J.I. Gibbo 61. Can you ask a question? Was Tesla okay? Yeah. What do you mean okay? You mean the scientist Tesla? Yeah, man. Yeah, interesting character, by the way. Seth, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you in the comment section. In fact, it's funny, man. Seth, he's the guy I mentioned earlier that somebody had gotten on YouTube and said, Jerry, something, talking about, great show. And I thought, Jerry. Only people in high school are allowed to call me Jerry. Jerry and Harold. Jerry and Harold. CF says, send them home with Mr. Potato Heads. The thing is, they already have a Mr. Potato Head blow-up doll. That's what they sleep with. Oh, they got Mr. Potato Heads all around the house. Nothing but Mr. Potato Heads, dude. That's all they're doing. Oh my gosh, man. Yes, I love that. Dude, that comment made my morning, by the way. It's catching on, man. It's catching on. It's good too, isn't it? It's a good one, man. When you talk to people, have you used that yet? Just talking to people and being like, dude, you're playing Mr. Potato Head with words. You're playing Mr. Potato Head with what you think the world's going to be like. And oh yeah, we have no experience of this, and we have no historical precedent for this, and, we can't even really explain how any of this is going to happen, but I believe with all my heart. Okay, I hear you. And this is what we need to do regardless of consequences, and we need to do it now. When do we want it? Now. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Be quiet, weirdos. Here's your Mr. Potato Head doll. Please go home, weirdo. But yeah, speaking of go home, weirdo, first murder hornet? I don't think so, dude. No. No. Okay, you guys saw what I did last week when I saw a spider. Well, obviously, if I see one of these buggers, I'm booking it. I am out of town. I am leaving quickly. But if I see any beat, it doesn't matter. Someone could say, "Hey, man, that actually doesn't sting you." I'd be like, that's okay. It might have evolved. How do you know that? They're like, well, no, we've studied it. Have you studied that one? Do you know for sure? Do you know for sure? The nest was found in Washington State on the private property. This is, by the way, Lad Bible. The nest has been found in Washington State on private property near the U.S.-Canada border. Oh, isn't that interesting, guys? The U.S.-Canada border. This is the northern invasion, I think. The Washington State Department of Agriculture said the insects had set up camp. Dude, yeah, they didn't just make a nest. They set up camp. I'm telling you, man, straight up insurrection. This is an insurrection. This right here is an invasion. Inside a tree on land that had been cleared to build houses on. This is bad. It's the first time an Asian... Oh, add this to the list, guys. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Is it China? Tell me it's not China. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. The Asian giant hornet's nest has been found on U.S. soil. This is the first time. It's kind of like the Rona. Experts had captured and attached radio tracking devices. Dang, son. To some of the hornets and waited for them to lead them to the nest. Dude, look at that. Look at that little thing, man. Are you sure? I mean, I know it looks like a radio device, but doesn't it kind of look like maybe that's the evolved stinger? Wait, there's the stinger. I know. Or how do we know? How do we know that bee, that's not just like what we found, and that's like actually not radio at all? Or if it is, it's radio from the bees to the deer. Because the animals are all in it together, guys. They've been stealing our trash, stealing our food. They're probably stealing our technology. We know that we know the pigeons did. We saw a picture of that at the CIA museum. That bugger had a camera on its chest, walking around with the camera, taking some pictures. Not good. Not good. Apparently. Yeah, well, you can't just have animals called murder hornets cutting about the place, can you? No. No. Get them buggers out, dude. The 2-inch Asian giant hornets actually get their nickname for something even more horrific than you might think. Oh, really? When these cuddly critters get a hold of honeybees, they're capable of ripping their heads clean off in large numbers. Dude, yeah, who thought that would be more horrific than the idea that they could murder you? Who thought that? That's the opposite of even more horrific than you might think. No, we here understand. And we were thinking it's coming after us with its little stinger. We're like, oh, ah. It's like, it's, where they sting you to death. It's kind of like paper cuts to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh. We're not going to do it. I was going to do some dad jokes, but we're running kind of like, well, let's do at least one or two. Okay, so these aren't dad jokes. What are these? Need some new jokes? Try these ones written by kids. Oh, well, this is going to be interesting. Okay, kids can be little comedians, coming out with the worst things at the most inopportune moments. Yeah. So there's an account on Twitter that shares jokes written by kids. Here are some of the best or worst, depending on how you look at it. Number 1, education standards are slipping. And this is over at thehooksite.com. You can find the jokes, I guess. Kids write jokes. What do you call a penguin wearing a top hat? I don't know. I was never taught that at school. What? Thank you for letting us know, buddy. But don't. Wow, dude. What? Oh my gosh. That's like the one. What did I say last week? The one about the farmer. You know, farmer Joe wakes up and goes out to the farm or goes out to the barn and realizes his tractor's missing. You know, what does he say? Where'd my tractor go? And you're like, what? Who cares, dude? Don't tell me that. You just wasted time. Tell me a better joke. Oh. Rules are rules. If you go to the ham contest, what will the man say? You won last year. You're not allowed. That is... You got to imagine, like, the story playing in the kid's head, though. You know what I mean? When you go to the ham contest, maybe his dad, like, did that and cooked ham, you know what I mean? And did that. I knew a kid, man. I knew a kid that would just make up jokes, dude, on the spot. He called himself the joke master. I think I was in maybe 10th grade. This kid was in, like, 4th grade, maybe. And he'd come up at games and everything, basketball games, and he's like, hey, man, I'm the joke master. And he took himself very seriously. And he would just sit there and he'd present these jokes all the time. And they were basically like that. Let's see. The interplanetary genius. Why is Freddie Mercury so good? Because he isn't Freddie Earth. Does this kid know something we don't? I don't know if I can read many more of these, dude. What the heck is this? Oh, man. Kids are letting me down, dude. At least that other kid's jokes were better. I mean, I wish I could remember them. It wasn't good enough that you can really remember. You know. A novel take on civil ceremonies. Why did Tom and Jerry get married? Oh, this ain't right. Because Tom was a boy and Jerry was a boy and they were strong as a toilet. Okay. Yeah, we're done with that. That's, you know, yeah, we don't talk about stuff like that on this show. You know, we don't talk about stuff like that. But, you know, it kind of reminds me, there are some jokes that are so bad that you'll just never forget them. It's like, you know, I think I mentioned the one before. In fact, I know I did. But I'll say it just in case you guys missed it. You may have missed it. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? Should I save the answer for later? Should I save it for later? I don't know. Maybe you guys already know the answer. Maybe you heard it before. If you heard it before, don't say anything. We might have to come up with some kind of a thing that somebody wins if they get the right answer or the most creative one. Or even more, if you draw a picture of the answer. If you draw a picture of the answer, we'll establish something. Maybe you'll win a book. Maybe you'll win a book from my collection, because I have a whole bunch of books, man. Tons and tons and tons. I've been meaning to do it anyway. It's like a treasure trove, a super happy fun time of books that we're going to be giving away. So if you want to go ahead and try to answer that throughout the show, we'll try to remember. Ailey, remind me. Remind me. Gonna have to give you the answer. I'll tell one more joke, though. This is a really good one. I hope you guys remember it forever. Right? A canoe is flying through the woods at 90 miles per hour. How many chicken bones can you fit in a doghouse? 17. Do you know why? Because motorcycles don't have doors. So that's basically like what this is here. I mean, I don't mean to be rude to these kids, but that joke, you know, and my joke might even be better. All right, moving on, guys. We're actually going to talk about some serious stuff. Let's see. I don't want to talk about that one first. This is actually one that... What's this? Oh, Snopes. Okay. Spider... Oh, dude, come on. Spider lives in man's scar? This is, like, traumatizing, guys. This is traumatizing, dude. Yeah, by the way, in the comment section, if you've heard the joke before, and I know Ailey has, you are not allowed to answer the question. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. Well, you are. If you've heard the joke, before and you know the answer, then you got to go ahead and you got to draw a picture of it. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? It's the best joke that's ever been done. Spider lives in man's scar. This is a nightmare, by the way, guys. This will be the last funny one here. A vacationing man has discovered that increasing pain he was experiencing was due to a tropical spider living under his skin. It's a question, okay. Yeah, by David Mickelson. Oh, that's looking bad. That's looking pretty gross, dude. Claim. A vacationing man discovered that increasing pain he was experiencing was due to that. Probably false. probably false. A seemingly implausible tale. Seemingly implausible. Okay, yeah. Australian man Dylan Maxwell, or Dylan Thomas, quickly became the subject of international buzz after he asserted that during his vacation trip to Bali, a spider burrowed under his skin and it had to be surgically removed. It was picked up by news outlets in Australia, then Europe, and eventually in the U.S. Images sourced from the Facebook page circulated as well. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty gross. I don't, what exactly is that? It's looking pretty hit. Nearly all the initial reports of it stemmed from the same source, an article published by Australian news site NT News. Okay. All right. Yeah. So what? What's so wrong about it? I mean, how else would you explain it? Moreover, the information contained in the article came from Maxwell himself. Okay, it's a single source. It's a single source. That's legit, self-reported, uncorroborated, implausible story. And not only was that story reminiscent of several other familiar arachnid-based urban legends, but how do you explain that though? The stuff on the skin. Well, let's see. This looks like it was proof. Okay. Oh, I don't know if we can play it. Oh yeah, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it, guys. This is baloney sauce. This is absolute garbage. Very, very upset at the fact that we have not been able to play any of these videos all day long. Yeah, okay, well, we're at least going to just fast forward here. Okay, so look at you can see the picture, right? We're going to do some stop action. Oh, wow, there he is. Is that him? Heck nah. This is like, look at the animation, by the way. They had to do this fake animation. It might not be real, guys. It might not be real. That's actually a relief. All right, as we come into the second hour, I want to thank everybody again for joining us. You are watching Paleocrat Diaries every single Monday through Friday from 10 to noon Eastern Time. Okay, we broadcast over a whole bunch of different platforms, and I'm really grateful for each and every one of you for tuning in. Always grateful for that. And make sure to check out PaleocratDiaries.com to learn more, not only about myself, but also about the show and what we do. And not just this show, but Paleo Cheese and even the contributions that I've made to meaningofcatholic.com. So make sure to check that out, PaleocratDiaries.com. You can become a subscriber completely free, or for $5 a month. And I've thought about even lowering it down, making like the I'm a wuss level, right? Kind of like Wolfenstein level. Like the game Wolfenstein, Wolf 3D, where it's like, I'm a wuss, don't shoot me. That's like the easiest one or something like that. And the next one is like Death Incarnate, like the extreme one. So like 5 would be, full blown card carrying member of the Paleonati, and the $1 a month level or whatever would be the I'm a total wuss. And I'm probably homeless, so don't hate my guts. If you're homeless and you're donating to the show, let me tell you, I definitely don't hate you. And I would say don't donate to the show. Find better ways to spend that money. Oh, boy. So, all right, moving on. This is a serious one, guys. And I promised that I would do this. Yeah, and by the way, TRN/ in the comment section says, Meaning of Catholic was how I first saw your work. Yes, man. Yes, absolutely. And, I love doing the show. Tim's a big time guy. Which was funny because when he first proposed the idea, went to his house, man, it was a possibility I was going to, he proposed it. He asked if I was interested in being a partner in founding that channel. And not even the YouTube channel at the time. It was just a website, just a WordPress. We talked about it, spent a couple hours at his house. I turned him down. I did. I said, I don't know, I'm willing to contribute. Right? And it probably works out best, it took a long time for me to even get into a mental space where I was able to pump out stuff on the regular. You know what I mean? Where I'm doing stuff every single day. And him, the guy's a workhorse. And we have 2 different styles, which is pretty complimentary if you ask me. I think we have a good time together. So it's always a whole bunch of fun. If you haven't seen my stuff on there, it's all pretty serious. I'm not sitting there super serious. I'm still having a good time. But it's not like, rah, rah, I'm not doing my thing. That's reserved for this show, my thang. And so, but we have really great videos over there. We've done a number of them about COVID. One about the SSPX. It's a in-house controversy with the Roman Catholic Church. And people who are traditional and support the Latin Mass, stuff like that. And what else did we do? We did one recently. Of course, the Trump one. That's since I've started this, I went on. I did it wasn't really a debate, but I gave my reasons and my reasons for supporting Trump, even in light of questions that are really difficult. There was a whole bunch of them. It was just like boom, 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 and I just had to sit there like Neil. Just I was good. I was pretty good. Not gonna lie. Totally kicked some butt. But the thing is that as that, and also as a testimony. Has a testimony from me on there. In fact, I was the first person interviewed on that channel. The first person interviewed. All right. 3 signs she's just not into you, and 3 of the same signs you'll misinterpret. See, here's the thing. We're going to talk, obviously, election news. That's going to be on the agenda. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, the outreach to African Americans that the Trump campaign has done, and why we're seeing more and more black Americans coming into the GOP, or at least not the GOP. Let me take this back. Trumpism, right? Recognizing the power of Maganomics, because it's true. It's totally true. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Real quick, before we move on, one more thing. Yeah, TRN/ says, music and art was a good one. By the way, Dave Hodges. And yeah, you're close. You said Dave Hodgson. Dave Hodges is the guy that is most responsible. Him and his wife are most responsible for having convinced me when I was a Protestant and a pastor, having convinced me of the truths of the Catholic faith. And so that him and his family, extremely important people, right? They are Wolfgang, or they are Lucian's godparents, right? Love those guys. We're godparents to their daughter. They have a daughter, Agnes, amazing girl, learning guitar, very talented, young, beautiful, powerful, spiritually robust young girl. Very, very, very proud of her. 3 signs she's just not into you. And I'm saying we're talking about this in the serious section because it might be a little bit funny, but the thing is the truth is, man, this is serious business, guys. This really is serious business. Let's see if it's going to... Oh, good. There we go. All right. So serious business. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to... we have to talk about this. And I promised, it was actually on the thumbnail. Dating tips. 3 signs she's just not into you. This is over at The Hard Times, written by Bobby Cork. Fellas, have you ever been in a situation where she just wasn't feeling your flirtatious advances? No. Me neither. Yeah, okay, so look, we're together. Yeah. Evidently, it's because I completely misinterpret every sign. This guy can speak for himself on some things, by the way, guys. You're in good hands. You're in good hands. I did a good job in life with that. Right? It's because I completely misinterpreted every sign that's supposed to tell me otherwise. Or so I've been told repeatedly by my therapist, countless women, and more bouncers than I can literally remember. I haven't been told that by anybody. I've never been told this. So you guys, again, this guy, you got both ends of this spectrum. We're going to see how it lines up. But the truth is, and ladies, let us know. Are we off on this? Is this something that we're not fully understanding? Is this writer over at thehardtimes.net, is he doing a good job of representing those signals? Are there signals that we may be missing? Here's what I kind of learned about navigating the utterly cryptic messages women try to send you to throw you off the scent, that they secretly want you to keep touching their leg. See, this is why he's getting wrong, man. That's rule number 1, dude. You don't just go around touching legs. What's the guy doing? You got to touch their heart first, bro. You got to touch the imagination, right? Especially, it depends on where you are, on the spectrum of fugly and stuff. Like, if you're real hit, you really have to tap into the imagination, but not unrealistically, right? You got to tap into those inner yearnings and stuff, man. And really draw them out. Kind of let her know. And you got to be creative, but don't look stupid. Don't do any miming stuff. No interpretive dancing. Don't do that. I don't know. Maybe there are people in the comments that say, hey, man, you're always busting on interpretive dancing. That's how I met my wife. And you watched the show? You watched this one? Are you serious? I don't know, man. Don't tell anybody. Oh, my gosh. She's ghosting you. Okay. Have you guys ever had somebody ghost you, by the way? Never, man. Never. Evidently, if she doesn't reciprocate communication, she's just not having it. Okay, so even like text messages and stuff. I've seen this, by the way. I've seen where somebody's texting, and most of the time, to be honest, most of the time it's a girl. I mean, I don't mean to say that, but you get a lot of that where these girls are like, hey, you're not responding to me. And you're kind of like, hey, I don't know about that. It was kind of nice going on a date. I thought it'd be cool, and it just, it wasn't working. Or you just don't answer, and the person's like, there's like several dozen attempts at texting, hey, or you up? Putting zero effort to mentally engage with this person. That's true. I've known people that did that. And I've known people that got really mad about it, too. Like, I can't believe you're not answering me. I can't believe you're not, letting me know that you're getting my text messages. What if the person's dead, by the way? Yeah, Anthony on Facebook has a bunch of emojis in the comments, right? He's got maybe this is like in his way, kind of like smoke signals. You know what I mean? Kind of like smoke signals. He's letting me know. He's got the message. And he's saying, look, you had to be cool. You got the glasses, the peace sign, the praise sign, the angel sign, the heart sign, the globe sign. Dude, that's all secret code for exactly how we land, connect with the right one. You got to be cool. Got to be peaceful. You got to pray real hard. You got to be a little bit of an angel. A little bit, little itty bit of one. You got to show your love. And then realize that if it doesn't work with one, the world has like 7 billion people. It's one reason why you shouldn't get too caught up with, the lust of the eyes and stuff. You might see somebody who's hot, but you just got to remember, man, there's 7 billion people. And if you start to get that, you put it in perspective a little bit better. And you're like, that girl I thought was mega hot, she's like, okay. That guy I thought was a super stud, well, he's all right. He's all right. Let's see. She says she's with someone. Every time I meet a girl at a party, the first words out of her mouth are about their amazing boyfriend and girlfriend. You got to just go. You got to go. I mean, look, or say, well, hey, look, your amazing girlfriend or boyfriend, they should listen to this great show. It's called Paleocrat Diaries. You should check it out. Here's a card that I made. Right? Here's a card that I made. We got to make some cards, man. Make it available for people to print out. It's kind of like that 100 handers or whatever. Oh, no. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's a clear sign that she's actually into somebody else. If that's literally the first thing. If you go up and you're like, yo, what's going on? And she's like, dude, my boyfriend is amazing. I'd be like, okay, if the person doesn't have a boyfriend, they're being, kind of a douche. But the fact is, that is a clear signal that just don't even deal, man. It's not worth it. And most of the time, if you meet somebody in that situation, it really isn't worth it. It's just not. How you'll misinterpret. Sure, she might say she's with someone else. But if she hasn't named names, it might be a test. Guys, if you think that, get it out now. You don't think that. Don't be like, she hasn't said the person's name. Maybe I should just keep on going. Maybe she's trying to, see if I'm going to be persistent. No, dude. No. You've got a limited amount of energy. And with 7 billion people on the planet, it really is, as far as relative things in our experiences are concerned, it's almost infinite. To our experience. How long would it take for you to go and meet and greet the billions of women, even if you just took just the unmarried ones and that was it, and you took time, and you got to remember it's going to keep replenishing because it takes you a year. Well, guess what? Now you got another one who is beyond that threshold. You got to be careful about that. Otherwise, you're going to be like Hunter Biden. That guy's in so much trouble. That guy's in so much trouble, dude. And what is it? The TV station, the Chinese TV station, dude, they're going to be coming out every single day with new junk. Every day. And it's like, oh my gosh, dude. Didn't they come out with what is it? One of Obama's kids, a credit card with cocaine. I'm telling you, man, it's starting to make me really wonder a little bit more seriously about that gay dude that said that him and Obama, with the drugs and the stuff. I've kind of always believed that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of always believed that. She flat out tells you, this is another sure sign, guys. This is one of the most straightforward signs that's fairly difficult to misinterpret. It's true, but how you'll misinterpret. Sure, she says that now. But she hasn't seen your collection of the Game of Thrones inspired sword replicas. That might be pretty dope, by the way. But, don't bank on that. If somebody sits there and they're like, hey, well, she just hasn't given me a chance, or let's say she did, but you ended up being kind of drunk. Like I saw that recently. It was an exchange between a guy and a girl where they sat there and the guy in this case, they went out to a bar, which already is kind of dumb. Like, there's better places to go. And not just better places to go, but, were you guys alone? Like, obviously these people, I don't want to say obviously, maybe it was, they were kind of falling and stuff that happened. But they weren't loving the Lord in that exact moment. Right? And the surest way, man, you got to just commit your life to Jesus. By the way, I'm dead serious about this. I'm dead serious about this. You got to dedicate your life to Jesus. And you got to dedicate your life to a belief system that says that divorce is just, not the right way. And that you've got to just be able to say, okay, here's a set of morals. Here's a set of expectations. Here's a set of beliefs and values that must be shared in common. Here's how reconciliation happens. It's got to be one of those things, man. You'll find, I'm telling you, and by the way, I know guys, and I'll only speak of guys, right? I know guys, and let's throw girls in there. I know guys and girls. In fact, I do know girls that are this way. I know guys and girls that are getting older, and they're like, man, I'm getting at this age where it's like, man, I wish that I was married. Wouldn't that be great? And I'm not understanding why I'm not married. And the truth is, sometimes it has to do with you a little bit. I don't mean to be rude about that. There are so many people, by the way, that desire to get married. And we'll even include low-hanging fruit, because if you say, I can't, and they say, well, I don't want low-hanging fruit, then you say, then really, if we get down to it, it's got to be what you are expecting. Is your expectation phony baloney sauce? More than that, people got to be realistic, Not everybody's hooked up as fat as me, I don't mean to be rude, but you guys know it's true. You guys definitely know it's true. And so, but the thing is like, it's not only that, though. I sincerely believe that there are times where that's happening, where that's God talking to you, not about what you need to do to get married, but the reasons why you shouldn't. The reasons why maybe there's something different for your life that involves you not being married. And not just for the past, but for your life. And that you should discern this. In fact, I'm heartbroken over a number of people that I've known over the years, ladies especially, very fervent for the Lord, right? But they were Protestant, and they had they lacked any conception for concept, any idea, or even a social imaginary that, like, in their world, that they could even imagine the idea that living a life of celibacy is important. That living an entire life of celibacy has a role in the church that glorifies God and advances his kingdom. It wasn't even in their social imaginary. And they lived their lives. In fact, one of them that I know is heartbreaking. Wonderful woman, heartbroken. Throughout her life, feeling as though, why am I single? That's a great question. But if your social imaginary doesn't even allow you to factor in the possibility that maybe your role is that, then you're going to be super duper sad. You're going to be very sad. And you're going to feel that you're worthless. Like, maybe I don't have anybody who loves me. Or am I, I'm never going to have a kid now. Maybe you should have a lot of spiritual children. Jeremiah, do you think a Catholic and an Orthodox dating marriage is possible? I think it'd be easier than dating a protester or Protestant. Yeah. What do you think? There's common law on it, or not common law. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, the church has rules about this, right? There's canon law about this, and in fact, I've got a really good book, and I don't want to misspeak, right? Because I found a lot of this stuff about the rules with the Orthodox and Catholic. I didn't know. I'm not a canon lawyer, and so like in reading about the dialogue between the East and the West over the years, it's a book about the history of this and the different documents that have been done and the development of those, what went in behind them, what are the limitations of them. And at the tail end of the book, it talks about a bunch of different rules regarding relationships that are different, even including like age of consent laws and stuff. I mean, just different, not the same in the East and in the West. And so, is it possible? I'm assuming it is. I mean, you see mixed marriages in that way. You see that, but you also see a lot of chocolate chip cookie masses and stuff. And so I don't know. It's one of those things. This is what I'll do, man. I will go ahead and today after the show, I'm going to go ahead and put at PaleocratDiaries.com when I upload this video with the table of content and all that. When I do that, I will include as a postscript, I will include the canon law, and I'll even say it's from you. Let's see, James. Yeah, James. What is it, Morell? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have to. There we go. Boop 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 boom. There we go. Saved it. So that way we can go ahead and I'll even include the question from you. So that will be found at PaleocratDiaries.com. That way you've got the specific canon law to do with it, things like that. But that's a great question, man. And the thing is, like, is it possible? I'm assuming so. I mean, there's a lot of overlap, guys. There's a reason why we're in dialogue with this, right? There's a reason that we get involved in these things, and why the Pope mentioned in his recent encyclical, the Pope mentioned, in fact, being inspired in part by one of the patriarchs. Is it Bartholomew? Being inspired by that. Yeah. You say, thank you, Mr. Bannister, your wealth of knowledge. You know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the little heart, too. I do, man. I like that. Thank you. But, it's also the fact that sometimes I don't know. And, I know a lot of guys that do this kind of stuff. And the thing is, this is heartfelt, man. This isn't like, pizzazzy, theatric guy. It's just heart to heart. I know a lot of guys that do what I'm doing now. And they hop on the microphone, they do their thing. But this idea of self-importance, man, it gets to them bad. And they eventually, I mean, you listen to them and it's hard to distinguish, like, the authority of the Pope and the authority of this YouTuber over here. And you're like, this guy's kind of, a little bit pulling a Pope Michael. This guy is, thundering pronouncements every day, telling people what they can and cannot do. And, and a lot of us, man, a lot of us who do this, we got into this gig doing other things. Like I have my degree in journalism and mass comm. So I've studied journalism and mass communication theory. I've studied law, media and journalism, and I understand these things. I've studied the history of that. I've done practicums with radio, with television. I've done that. Voiceovers, commercials, done that. Canon law, never. Never. And so I enjoy reading about theology. It's one of my favorite things in the world to read. I love it. And I have certain things that I love reading about with theology more than others, including, apologetics, eschatology, the apologetics being defense of the faith. And you may know that, of course, but for people who don't, apologetics being the defense of the faith, I love reading about that. I love reading different views on that and tactics employed in the defense of the faith. I love reading about philosophy. I love reading about, I mentioned eschatology, the idea of kind of the end, where we're going, right? And what our view of the end is. I enjoy reading philosophy. But when it comes down to the church, I've learned over the years, and I wasn't always this way, but I learned over the years when it comes to this, I'm a layperson. And I understand that. And in fact, I'm really rigid about it. I say, we'll talk about any of that stuff, but it will always have a massive asterisk that says, I am not a professional theologian. I'm not a canon lawyer. I'm certainly not a priest or a pope. And so I always defer. And maybe that's, I believe that's not only good, like on an ethical and spiritual level, but I think it's good for overall benefit of knowledge. And that I rely on them, you know what I mean? And say, it's ain't coming from me. I'm not pontificating for this, Ailey says this. She says, they may not know who Pope Michael is. Pope Michael is the the Pope. I think his parents voted him in, didn't they, Ailey? I think his parents, didn't they go to like a Motel 6 or something like that? They went into the motel and, everybody's like, well, what's going on here? And they're like, we're voting for the Pope today. And you're like, in Canada? Are you serious? And so they end up going into this hotel or something, into the little room, and they had a vote. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 people. And they voted for the son, and he became Pope Michael. And they walk out, and they're like, we have a Pope. And everybody's like, yay! And they're all clapping, and the people sitting there looking, watching, they're like, dude, does this guy really think he's the Pope? Yes, he does. He really does. He's been living that way for a long time. So that's Pope Michael. And I think a lot of these YouTubers, man, dude, they're just Pope Michaeling it up, dude. Pope Michaeling it up. All right. The fix is in. Pennsylvania Supreme Court rules ballots must be approved even if signature does not match registered voter. This is insane. It is insane, by the way. Think about that. If the signature doesn't match the voter. Dude, this is a big steal, guys. This is a big honkin' steal. Pennsylvania Secretary of the Commonwealth, Kathy Boockvar, said last month that signature verification does not matter when it comes to accepting ballots. Oh, yeah, look, if your signature doesn't match at all, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. If the voter's declaration on the return envelope is signed and the county board is satisfied that the declaration is sufficient, so they're just, so magic crystal ball. If they're magic crystal balling this, so there may be evidence, right, to the eyes. It's like, okay, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not the same. And they're like looking at it like, oh my gosh, something's off. And they're like, hold on a second. Oh, it works for me. I think it's the same person. How do you know that? Because I've got a crystal ball. What? The Pennsylvania Election Code does not authorize the County Board of Elections to set aside return absentee or mail-in ballots based solely on signature analysis. So then what's the rest of it? So based solely on, okay, if they say, well, if everything else is in line, then what do you do, man? What do you do? What do you do? Unbelievable. What the heck? Over Gateway Pundit, Biden campaign is promoting rallies at Florida polling stations after Kamala Harris campaigns to voters in line in Ohio. Dude, isn't this illegal, by the way? Party at the polls? It's all in Florida. Sunday, October 25th. Wow, dude. Wow. And look at their outfits, man. By the way, Kamala, does she do her own clothes? Because she's wearing a blue blazer with black pants all the time. And I'm just like, come on. Like, is that shade of blue that's just like, dude, it's a clashing outfit. It does not look attractive. I am sorry. And she could dress very attractive. She could dress wonderfully, in fact. She's a pretty lady. Prettier before the whole Botox thing. And prettier after the Botox kind of calmed down. Because there was a while where she did look a little bit like Joker. A little bit. Or like Alien. You know what I mean? Like one of those. She did. I mean, her face, and the eyebrows and everything was real tight. It looked gross. And I think she knows that. She's glad stuff has settled down. The Biden campaign decided on Saturday to start moving their rallies to polling stations in Florida. That's really great. Oh, and she's going to be doing it in Ohio. Is that even legal? There used to be laws about that. I know. Because I had a sign that was too close. And they had to come up and tell me I had to move the sign away. You couldn't even have a sign there. And imagine if they just show up and they're like, yeah, everybody, I'm right here. What? We need a lot of MAGA people to be out there to protest that in the exact same place. Just make it not cool, by the way. Make it not cool. Biden gets testy with a reporter when asked about his relaxed schedule. Quote, there's not been a day that hasn't been a 12-hour day yet. Dude, I wonder if this video is going to work yet, man. Come on. This is upsetting, guys. This is so upsetting. Oh, yeah, here's how. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. This is going to drive me bonkers. So, okay, well, look at his face. I mean, you can see at his face. He's, So here's the thing. He's telling everybody. Somebody asked about his light schedule. He got mad. I told you where I was going to travel. And by the way, I've traveled the last few days, too. Well, good for you. Yeah, good for you, dude. You've traveled the last couple days. You're running for president. Dude, he's so low energy. He's so sleepy. He is. Just look at him, man. He's the sleepiest guy. Worse than Hillary, by the way. I mean, well, yeah, you don't know. She had this Scooby wagon, dude. She had that van, the med van. Remember that? He was always around waiting for her to collapse and stuff, and they would, as soon as it was done, get her in and plug her up, man. It's what you got to do. Get her in and plug her up and just say, okay, we're trying to give you a lot of medicine while we're going from point A to point B. That's what it was. We're constantly, there hasn't been a day that hasn't been a 12-hour day yet. I know that sounds like a lot, but you're running for president. Text messages show that the VP Biden and his wife colluded to suppress Hunter's action. Oh my gosh. With a certain minor. Oh boy. This is going to get worse and worse, guys. Because, look, they are saving worse and worse things for later. But part of this, look. Part of this is, and this is rough. Basically, Hunter admits that his ex is telling people that he's sexually inappropriate with her daughter. Is it his ex? A family friend, right? Okay, well, who is the person? That someone is accusing him of being sexually inappropriate. Some of the pictures that were shared yesterday, man, were like, dude, why are you taking a picture of that girl laying down on her bed like that? You know what I mean? What's going on with that, home slice? Well, why do anything he's doing? He's obviously a degenerate, but here's where it gets bad. So he says, or my mom tells him things like I'm sexually inappropriate with the children. My mom, meaning Jill. That's crazy. Tell me, please, how do I keep my kids without killing myself in the process? So a family friend writes back and says, it's imperative that you call me or your dad. Your father is getting, as barraged as I am. We both agree with and trust you. So they're trusting the son. They're saying, we don't believe that you're doing anything inappropriate, even if Jill has said it. Oh, dude, what? So dude, guys, listen. If a wife comes up and says, hey, there's some serious weird hanky-panky going on with your crack smoking son, dude, there's good reason to believe that as long as the old crack pipe is blazing, it's probably true. I don't know. I don't know. He might be smoking crack, but he would never do that. Yes, he would. Yes, he would, especially if he's a Biden. In an email to a colleague and fellow board member on Burisma, the now felon Devin Archer, Hunter explains how he's not allowed to be around a certain person without his dad being there. Blank won't let me see blank without my father present. Dude, Yeah, this is not good. Yeah, torture. What do you mean torture, man? It might be like, oh, it's torture, man. Why doesn't he let you just go around a bunch of these kids? And by the way, why would Biden have to be there? Haven't they seen pictures of that cat sniffing hair and junk? Grabbing her arms around little kids that are pulling away, feeling very uncomfortable? Wrong kinds of advances going on with that? Yeah. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Political candidate and whistleblower who witnessed fraud file lawsuit against Michigan Secretary of State over Detroit leaks. Okay. Stephen Kara and Bob Cushman are demanding accountability. Stephen? Kara? Hold on a second. You know when you got to sneeze? All right. Excuse me, man. State representative candidate is Stephen Kara and whistleblower Bob Cushman, who observed electoral fraud firsthand in August, are filing a lawsuit against Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson over findings revealed in the Detroit leaks. By the way, Detroit leaks, you got to check it out. Big league politics. They've been on the ball. I don't know how many more they got left. But this lawsuit claims that Benson and Brader are breaking election law by enforcing social distancing guidelines to disenfranchise poll challengers. Dude, totally true. Totally true. And also, the lawsuit notes that there is no law on the books mandating these social distance requirements. They're based off of a Michigan Department of Health and Human Services directive that was issued in direct contradiction to an order from the Michigan Supreme Court. Yes, and we know for a fact that poll workers, at least in Detroit, Democratic strongholds, that they're saying, look, we're going to have a lot of these poll workers. In fact, a lot of them have signed up to be poll workers because of activities done and the kind of activism done by a friend and listener of this show, Adam Heikela. He is the man, by the way. But these people, they're talking about how social distancing rules can keep the poll challengers away. They don't have to see it. It's all on audio, too, by the way. That should hold up in court, at least for there. No ID, no problem. Poll workers told that voters do not have to prove their identity. I saw this, by the way. I saw this firsthand. And you know what? Look, maybe there's something that I'm missing. It was in the primary. And you have this lady come in. She's all huffing, right? And she's running real fast, very obese. She comes in. She looks kind of Antifa out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean to be too judgmental. I've seen some videos of individuals that went in and voted for Trump, and they look like they would not do this, right? I don't want to judge books by their cover, okay? But at the same time, you kind of know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? We have seen the mugshots. So you kind of look and you go, yeah, that person looks like they'd be Antifa. They look like they may have been arrested before for rioting and looting. And so, she comes in, huffing and puffing, and she says, hey, my ID and my passport have been stolen. I don't have any form of identification on me at all. And they're like, mail, anything? No, don't have it. I need to vote right now. And I'm like, how do we know you're from this precinct? How do we know who you are? How do we know? How do we know any of that? And see, this is why I don't like that Republicans, even Trump, have been talking about fraud. Instead of just simply integrity, to use a positive frame. You can use a negative and a positive frame, and to say, look, this matter makes it, anytime with any of these laws where Democrats just don't care anymore, right? Even with border crossing, where they're just like, oh, a person came over, they look super sad, bring them on in, perfectly fine. It's like these people don't understand that it's actually important that a society is able to have, at bare minimum, when it comes to voting, proof that you can vote. Or if you're coming across the border, proof of who you are, because you might be a rapist. I'm sorry to say that. You might be a rapist. You might be a drug lord. You might be a human trafficker. You might be kidnapping a kid. You might be kidnapping, in fact, your own kid from the spouse and bolting town for sicko reasons. You don't know. You don't know who that person is. And if they say, well, I don't think so. I don't care what you think. Do you have anything to back that up? No, but you know. No, man. I'm sorry. Too much on the numbers. But it's unclear how the state's going to verify the proof of identity for these individuals who cannot provide any evidence while voting. How can you prove that it was the person? Their only answer is, I don't think they would lie. And at that point, you want to punch them in the freaking face and say, dude, wake up, you dummy. What is wrong with you? Because deep down inside, here's the fact. Most of the people that would say that are probably lying themselves. They're probably lying. They sit there and say, well, I don't think these people would lie. You know what I mean? Oh, no, I think you're lying. I think you know that people lie, and you don't care because you know that the vast majority of instances where this happens, it benefits you. It benefits you. Anyone with an easily forged voter registration receipt can come to a precinct, receive a ballot, and vote. Again, during the training, the instructor gave a sample for a voter registration receipt to a prospective poll worker that could be used to receive a ballot. The sample voter registration receipt contains no signature from a clerk, no digital certificate, or any proof of verification at all. The instructor explained that this is because of new laws that allow voters to register up until the day of election. In Michigan, what we can do now as voters is register to vote up and through election day. The computer system, the electronic poll book program, is downloaded on a Saturday before the election. It's not a live feed. Wow. Dude, unbelievable. Yeah. The one down below says process him as a regular voter, a regular ballot. So there are two separate types of receipts. The lack of oversight throughout this process enables obvious scams to take hold. Yeah. You could fake thousands of late registration receipts in order to stuff the ballot box under this suspicious protocol. This is why we actually need poll watchers at this point. Like big time. And we always do. But we need lots and lots and lots of them. Instructor expresses concerns with poll challengers and watchers knowing the law. Really? Quote, you actually have people watching you work. And the crazier part is, since poll watchers don't have identification, I've had poll watchers in my class. I was told down at TCF last year, someone waited for 22 hours. Yeah, they believe in what they're doing. Somebody watched the polls 22 hours. They say until the lights came on. They stay until the lights come on. And until the lights came off. I said it was weird. That was so bizarre. You gave up your entire day to watch the polls. This is a person training, by the way. Yes, it is not weird at all. She also noted that she would not want anyone who understood the process to attend her training. Oh, yeah. Huh, I wonder if it's on the up and up, guys. If poll watchers can come into the classes and become poll workers, I know challengers snuck into those chairpersons' classes. I would not want him to be on my poll watcher in my precinct because he knows exactly what you're doing. Oh, doesn't this just literally say that because that person knows what you're doing, that you can't get away with stuff, and that this person doesn't want that type of educated and informed individual to be there? Doesn't that scream at you that this person is training people to freaking cheat? In the comments, it's annoying that even our process of voting is politicized. In other countries, they require a fair amount of verification to vote. Yeah. In a lot of countries, they don't have the amount of illegal immigration, for example. You know, where unidentifiable people using fake social security numbers. It's rampant. It's rampant here. And one party relies heavily on that. And you know what? I'm so glad. Trumpism is a great thing. It actually saved the GOP from the what do they call that? Not the autopsy, biopsy. So they did a biopsy, right, of the party. back in 2012. How do we lose? And their idea was we just need a lot more illegal immigrants. We need to really broaden how many people we bring in and just have a bunch and make this the new way of doing things. And I'm like, these people want to play the same trashy game the Dems are. Don't think so. O'Keefe strikes again. Georgia Dem Senate candidate John Ossoff keeps progressive values low key to sway Georgia rednecks. You know, it's interesting, by the way. We won't even go into this one. It's interesting, by the way, because you look at it and you say, you know, why is it that of all the groups that can be mocked, we mentioned yesterday when the black dude in an argument, right? And it was an argument over parking. And it came out to, you dumb a white boy, is what he said. And I thought, this doesn't cut both ways. This doesn't cut both ways. We have this weird, grotesque hypocrisy, by the way, on how racial slurs are used, or how race is used at all when arguing with people. It's grotesque. And it's glaring. It's right in your face. And here's an example of it. I thought, you know, to sit there and say rednecks, you know what they're talking about. You can visualize what they're talking about. That's where my family do. My family is my grandparents, grandma raised in the hill country of Tennessee, moonshine running parents. You know, went to school in one of those churches, the schoolhouse, right, where all the grades are together. Kind of cool pictures to go back and see. In fact, lived in, was it a county, Ray? That was so backcountry, man. They had that whole experience where the sheriff, I think it was the sheriff that included in a bill, tucked into a bill, the idea that if you're gay, you can't live there. It was like no gays in Ray or whatever. The LGBTQ, QIA plus whatever else, they showed up to, they threatened to show up and protest, right? The media was all over them. Ray, no gays in Ray. And all of the protesters, we're going to come in, we're going to show you, blah, 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 blah. And it was like 2 people, dude. And they were locals. They were locals. I don't know if they stayed. But they overturned the law, so they probably felt okay about it. But the thing is, rednecks, we all know. We all know what that is. You can probably put a sound to it. Them there redneck people. Them there white folks. You can put an accent. You can put clothing to it. You have it in your mind, don't you? What that means? It's funny because, you know, you're saying a lot about that. And if somebody called me redneck, I would wear that with pride, man. I wouldn't wear that as a downer. I'd wear it with pride. I'd say it's interesting, though, that it's basically the last demographic that you can just openly mock. And, you know, one of the ways you know this, because SpongeBob. Funny enough, man, SpongeBob. SpongeBob has that episode where SpongeBob is telling jokes, and his jokes are not working. They are flopping very, very badly. Like, what's up with, you know, hey, what do you think about forks? What's up with those things? Kind of stuff. Not funny, right? Like those jokes we mentioned earlier. On the show when talking about kids telling jokes and writing jokes. And the thing is that in that episode of SpongeBob, he starts making jokes about Sandy the squirrel. And Sandy the squirrel, he's sitting there and he's like, you know, they're talking about how dumb she is, and she felt kind of hurt about it. And he's like, oh, well, I make fun of myself too. And then she went out into public, and as she's going throughout the store, people are looking at her. She's like, hi, everybody. And they're like, oh, don't get near the squirrel. You don't want to get dumb on you. That kind of a thing. And she starts to feel really badly about it. And it gets worse and worse and worse. So she wants to teach SpongeBob a lesson, because he does it again. She asks him not to. He ends up doing it again. So she wants to teach him a lesson. Says, hey, why don't you come over to the house? We'll have a lot of fun. Comes to the house. And so to prove the lesson that you don't make fun of demographics, what does she do? She dresses up like a hillbilly. A stupid hillbilly. Buck teeth. Doing all the, you know, embodying the very things that he was saying about squirrels. But there was no lesson in there. Don't make fun of rednecks. In fact, it made fun of rednecks in order to make a point not to make fun of anybody else, but not in a way like, and you say, of course they chose that. Of course they chose that. Why does that go along with it? Why not have the Hasidic doolies and stuff? You know what I'm saying? Why not have black people? Why not have whatever and just sit there, dub, dub? Why not do that? And you go, because it's so convenient. Because it's the only group that you can technically do that to anymore. It's the last bastion. And that's why it's like, as I said, I wasn't surprised when I heard that guy yesterday in a debate over parking call the white guy a dumb white boy. So it's so weird. But yeah, they're trying to, you say, oh yeah, it's a bunch of rednecks out there. Bunch of rednecks out there. We want to make sure they don't know. Here's somebody making sure you don't know. Facebook Elections Integrity Watchdog is a Soros fellow who worked as a Joe Biden's advisor. Oh, wow, that's great. We can't even trust him, guys. This is why, I mean, look, you know, maybe I'll see you guys all on Parler. I mean that, by the way. Add me on Parler if you go over there. If you aren't on Parler, I strongly encourage you to go to Parler, learn it, spend some time on it. I'm going to. But this is true for Twitter. This is true for Facebook. This is true for all of this. And it's why Trump's got to mention his most popular issues. In fact, you know, maybe we can talk about this. I'll save the idea for the, you know, the outreach that's going. No, you know what? No. I'm going to talk about this instead. Let's see. Which one should we do? Will Trump's long courtship of black voters work? Or which is worse for black America, COVID or the Democrats? Which is worse? We'll do this one first. Well, in fact, we'll do this, and then we'll just go probably to memes. I want to mention my buddy, he wrote something for the Washington Examiner, and I want to say something about it. Will Trump's long courtship of black voters work? If so, it will mark Donald Trump's greatest political achievement, at least equal to his stunning 2016 victory. Right here, it says, Democrats are panicking, and not just because their presidential candidate isn't up to the task. No, Democrats are fearful that Donald Trump's 4-year courtship of black voters will reap electoral dividends in November. Now, Chuck Todd recently said, quote, both campaigns tell me that there is a chance that Donald Trump could overperform with African-American men. Do you see how he puts overperform? Do you see that? Yeah. Overperform. Yeah, no, he's doing a good job, by the way, Chuck Todd. And Chuck Todd's a piece of crap. I don't want to get too caught up with Chuck Todd. Right? The guy's a loser. I don't mean to, don't mean to be too diminishing, but he's a public figure. He's been around for a long time. And he sucks. We all know it. It's a concern of the Biden campaign, and it's a focus of the Trump campaign, which is why it's not overperforming. No other Republican president or candidate has worked harder to earn the long elusive support of black Americans. Quote, remember when he said that? Remember when he said, what have you got to lose? It was during a rally in 2016. He said, in fact, where was that? Was it Detroit? Where was he when he said that, guys? He said, you're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the heck do you have to lose? Remember how the media got on his case about that? Of course, they're the watchdogs for the DNC, and that reflects very poorly on the DNC because the DNC has a practical monopoly on almost every single city that is predominantly black. It's just true. James, take it from a black guy. Yeah, dude, are you a black guy watching the show? I hope so, dude. I'm not gonna say, I hope you're black, buddy. I hope you're black. No, I'm serious, man. I'm excited about that. The fatherlessness rate in my community is worse than COVID and the Democrats. Democrats come in second, though. Dude, the thing is, yes, dude, Fatherlessness is worse than COVID and the Democrats. Totally true. You know, and the thing is, man, like, I know people, you know, they're like, dude, you talk a lot about race issues. And I say, because I actually take this stuff seriously. And the truth is, I've lived in a predominantly black community and sent my kids to a school that's predominantly black. Okay, in fact, for years. And so, you know, to me, and not only that, I've been one of the only members that was white. It was two of us that were white. I guess he had a family. He had like 2 kids, and his wife was white, and he was white. So it was altogether like 6 people who were members of a black church. I've been a member of 2 different black churches in my life. Where and by member, I mean like I'm participating. I'm there. I'm involved. I go to the events, and I've listened. I'm friends with my people in my neighborhood. We have differences of opinion on Biden, but I know why they talk the way they talk. And so when I get into conversation about Biden, I don't want people to take that the wrong way. I know the reasons why they talk the way they talk, you know. But the thing is that we get into these conversations, and I've made it part of my idea of Trumpism, right? That this is extremely important, and I'm really glad because it is. I've recognized it as such, and I thought I know a lot of people want to focus on different dynamics of this. To me, I think that the questions of race, the questions of culture, the questions of family, the questions of entrepreneurship, that these issues are huge. Marriage, remaining faithful, culture, big time. Worldviews, big time. I've recognized the strengths in the black community. I've recognized the strengths and said, you know, it's funny because I know a lot of white people who will, you know, talk about black people as if, you know, well, they just want to rely on the government dole. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And you know, are there many? Yes. Are there many white people that do that? Yes. But one thing I found is that many people in the African American community have an entrepreneurial spirit, and they don't want the man making laws telling them that they can't start an independent business. They're creative. They're artistic. I know a bunch of people that want to make that say, I want to start a business as a hairdresser. I want to start a business making barbecue. I lived next to a guy that was that way, and he sat there, and his idea was like, look, I want to be able to make food for people. And he would host parties and everything. Massive parties. I got some beautiful pictures of the layout that he had, the food. Amazing food. Always amazing. Always. We have up the road. We have it at the park up the road. They have events where people come in. They have all these different booths that are set up. The number of people who are involved in that are producers of things. They create content. They create substance, things that you can sell. It's diligence, man. It's vision. It's determination. And they don't want for the government to be telling them that they can't start that business and they got to go through all this red tape. And if they do, they need to know how. They need to know how that happens. What's required of them. And they've been in these public schools for so long, and that's why so many of them support school choice. They know, man. They know. So when people sit there and treat it like, you know, Republicans don't care about this, or Trump people are racist and they don't care about this, dude, tell them to shove it, dude. People who say, man, you talk a lot about this issue, about racial issues and things like that. Yes, I do, because it's important. Because it's important. Saying red, yellow, black, and white, we are precious in his sight. Saying all lives matter, things like that, that doesn't deny the reality of race. I don't sit there and play the pretend thing that says, oh, you're a black guy? I never knew it. Or you're black? That doesn't have any ramifications on anything at all. People who say that, dude, you really don't know. You really don't get it. You're probably saying that from your lily white house in your lily white town with your lily white picket fence and your lily white kids at a lily white school, all attending a lily white church, and telling yourself, I don't see nothing about race. And I go, there's a reason. There's a reason why. That doesn't mean you have to accept everything about the claims made by anybody. They don't have, people of other races don't have to accept that of me. White people don't have to accept that of me. That's what the debate is about. But to say this stuff is real and stuff matters to different communities. And you can recognize, by the way, you can recognize a community of people, a general interest. Doesn't mean all of them. You have to be able to have a bell curve and say there is a community of people without saying there is the leader. To recognize the one and the many. To recognize the reasons for a collective identification, but also insisting that you can't take that too far. That one, like we talked about yesterday with the Biden ad, that just because one person is accused of being crazy, or one person is accused of anything by the president, right? Take Ilhan Omar or any of the squad, AOC, any of them, and all of a sudden this ad has a bunch of black ladies acting as if it was said to them directly. That's just not true. So you can recognize, on the one hand, the reason why people would feel connected to a kind of solidarity, a kind of fraternity, right? A kind of this idea of brotherly and sisterly love amongst people that look like them. And yet at the same time, be able to insist and say, look, you can have that, but at the same time, there are people and you are a person. And he wasn't talking to you. You need to be able to recognize, again, the one and the many. And Trump does this. He's done it for 4 years, 3.5 years. He has done it. That's why, before the double whammy of COVID-19 and a punishing lockdown, the economic picture for blacks has never been brighter. Think about it. In December 2019, the unemployment rate for black workers reached its lowest level on record. Wages are rising faster among black people. A provision in the president's signature 2017 tax cut bill created opportunity zones for economically distressed areas, mostly in the inner city. And the thing is, Democrats could sit there and say, you know what, well, why aren't more of them being used? Why aren't we seeing more of this and people taking advantage of it? And say, why? That is your area in town. We need to work, and Trump maybe should work better with the Democratic cities and say, look, we need to make sure. And that way, even if they don't, even if the Democratic cities and the leaders in those cities don't do it, you can sit there and show firsthand and record it, man. Record it. Let them know and say, look, we've gone here and we've worked. You can't just walk in as the feds. You're respecting federalism, which by the way benefits people, every person. New voices are amplifying the president's message. It's true. It's true. There are indications that multi-pronged outreach might be working. Recent polls show double-digit support for the president, albeit low double digits. Trump won 8% of the black vote in 2016. That's a little bit better than Mitt Romney's 6% in 2012. But a Harris Hill poll released Wednesday, I don't know how long ago this was, shows Trump was 16%. The president is favored by 12% of blacks in a new Economist YouGov poll. Both polls also indicate roughly a quarter of Hispanic voters plan to vote for Trump. According to a Zogby poll released this week, 36% of African Americans approve of Trump's job performance. And that's actually really important. It's kind of like the question, do you feel you're better off? And remember, Biden was the guy that sat there and said, look, what do you do with the, was it 56%? 56% who say they're better off now than they were when Obama was around. And he says, well, maybe they should vote for Trump. Yes, dude, people hear this. You got many different black Republicans running for office. Congressional districts currently held by Democrats. John James is one of them here, right in Michigan. It's close. Is it Klachik or Klachik? Who earned national attention a few weeks ago with her viral campaign video while walking the burned out streets of Baltimore. Yes. There was a protest, a rally that went through, was it DC? Where was it, man? It was, dude, tons of African Americans for Trump walking through the town. Because, and look, there is a difference, by the way. I don't want to go on like this forever. In fact, this is the last thing. You know, a lot of people, they struggle to differentiate between the GOP and Trump because Trump is ultimately the boss of the GOP on paper. And you know, people say, well, he runs the GOP. He's the leader of the GOP. Look at his influence on the GOP. And you say, but historically, and in actuality, it's not a monolithic thing. In fact, he's up against a great deal of resistance, especially from within the GOP, sabotaging him day and night. There are many people in the GOP who would rather see him go, even if that means that Biden wins, especially, by the way, if they believe that Biden will win. And they're, statistically speaking, it will be one or the other. I mean, that's just, you know, with the well-wishing of the what is it, American Solidarity Party or Joe from the Libertarian Party or the Green Party, you know, their well-wishing notwithstanding, you know, you're going to have one or the other. And there's a lot of people in the GOP that would love to see Trump gone, especially or even if it means Joe Biden, because they actually have a lot in common. The neocon cabal has a lot in common. There's a reason why they were a uniparty. There's a reason why they were a uniparty, man. You know, that philosophically so much in common. And so when Trump comes out, and Trump's a populist, he believes in Maganomics. He believes in America making things again. And you want to know what? When you're making things and you're emphasizing that manufacturing base and trying to bring that back home, when you're doing that, your wages are going to rise. In fact, interestingly enough, unionism will go up. Interesting enough. Money will, the amount that people make, will go up. I mean, you look and you say, he cares about people. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, but those are like low-level jobs. I mean, manufacturing, a lot of these people, you don't even need a high school degree. You don't need a college degree. That's right. That's right. And for so long, the American trade policy and the American economic policy that we've been beholden to for so long has simply not cared. They haven't cared for that group, for the people who may not have a degree, may not have a diploma. They'll like be a greeter at Walmart. But Trump's Maganomics says, no, we want to make it so that you have a job that, yes, on the one hand, let's say you're working the line. Is it a little bit mundane? Sure. Yeah. It is a little bit mundane. Okay. Is it the monotony of it all? Right? To sit there and say, man, I go in and I put a little thing in here, and you know what? You're going to go home with money. You're going to go home with money. And the truth is, you know, if you don't have, let's say, a skill set, and it may not be your fault. I mean, you may, you know, people when they grow up in school, especially when they're stuck in these cities with these crappy schools and no school choice, you're hosed, man. You may, you know, there is a roll of the dice to some of this. That doesn't mean that you're beholden the rest of your life, but it does mean you have to dance with the person that you brought. And sometimes you may not have picked out the dancing partner you got. Okay? You got to dance with it. So let's say you don't have a degree. Let's say you don't have a diploma. Let's say you're a felon. Let's say that happens, man. A significant number of people, minorities and people of color, are felons. And in large part because of the crime bill that Joe Biden voted for. In large part. In fact, the numbers we mentioned yesterday, the numbers of black men who've gone to prison, the numbers of blacks in general and Hispanics who've gone to prison, who've been convicted, who go to jail, dramatically down since Donald Trump has come into office. Dramatically. And you say, but these people, they have struggles. There's things that they have a hard time with. And you go, okay, you know what? One of those things is finding a job. Believe me, I know this. It's hard. It's hard, guys. And yet Donald Trump is sitting there saying, look, we want to make it. We want to make it that you are going to, that you're going to be able to get a job that is consistent, that gives you a sense of dignity, a sense of place, predictability in your life. And if you are the type of person, and it doesn't matter, you know, who you are, it doesn't matter if you're the type of person that wants to attempt to do something brave, to put yourself out there as an entrepreneur, well, then guess what? We're going to make sure that the regulation's not going to suffocate you before you even get out the gate. Because he freaking cares. And more than that, on top of that, as a cherry on top, he's letting you know that even if the world comes against you, and it does, because there's truth to the idea that if there's a fire in the white community, then it's a full-out brush fire, man, in the black community. There is a truth to this. That if it rains, it's pouring over there. And what he's telling you is that, look at me. The world goes against Trump every single day. Literally. You could say every single day, you know he's going to trend somehow on Twitter in a negative way where people will throw stuff at him if it's not true. People lied about him. They accused him of being a traitor. They accused him of taking money from Putin. They accused him of being a traitor with Ukraine. They accused him of peeing on a freaking mattress to try to make a point against Obama. They accused him of being a Nazi. They accused him. And what does he do? He's meeting African American men and women where they are and providing work. And more than that, giving them a sense that that can come against you. And it does. But you can rise up and you don't have to submit to that. Posture yourself. Take that junk hat on. Because you have a dream. You have a vision. You have principles. You're willing to sacrifice. Even when the world hates you. And you don't have to be what everyone thinks you're going to be. And you can make yourself what you want. He does this every day. And it's so messed up when people say, oh, he's doing this for white people. Dude, I seriously just want to punch those people in the face. And say, dude, are you out of your mind? He's the president of the United States. He wants to see people rise up. He wants to see them make the best they possibly can. Even if you want to say that he does it for bad reasons. Even if you want to say, oh, he does that because he wants to, be able to boast of things. So what, dude? So what? Let him do that. He may be one of the only people, like I think Ann Coulter said it, he may be one of the only people in the world who really takes it seriously when the media says it's because of his cult of personality that people love him, instead of the idea that he has a set of policies that actually allow Americans to dream again. His policy is important because it makes him a juggernaut. It makes it so that he doesn't crumple like all the other Republicans and Democrats. Think of Obama. When Obama came around, people were mesmerized. Why? Because the ideas that he had were actually pretty powerful. A lot of the ideas he had as a candidate were actually pretty powerful. And guess what? Crumpled. People can say he didn't believe it. But you look and you say, look, think of all of the different issues that candidate Obama had that he would have sided on the populist wing, the side on. And you look and say, yes. And then he crumpled. Trump has not. Trump has not. Trump has made good on the promises that he made to every single American. Red, yellow, black, white, yellow, doesn't matter. Let's see. All right, we're moving on. We went over. I'm sorry, by the way. I'm sorry for going off on that, but the thing is, it really bothers me because this is an important issue for me. These are important issues for me. And I'm sick and tired of Democrats making it out because the idea with saying, that this is just for whites is like saying, and they do say this constantly. They treat it as if independent thought is not something that a black person either can do or that they have a right to do. When I say, come over, man, leave the dark side, guys. That's the evil. They want you to be kept down because they've kept you down for a very long time. They kept you down all through the Civil War. They kept you down. That's the same group. The same people. Liars, man. Look at the way their policies have kept you down. Look at the way that their policies and their platforms have kept you disenfranchised. Look at the way that it's been impotent in stopping crime. Look at the way it's been impotent in inspiring the people who are poor, not only to reach up for higher things, but to believe with everything they've got that they're able to do it. Look at them. They need you weak. They need you in chains. They love it when you are in chains. Look at the leadership. Look at the leadership. Look at the track record, man. It's been a long time. You know it's true, too. You know it's true. And it's all tokenism. It's all token. And look, whenever there's something that comes out, if there's something that comes out that's like we're going to rally black people together, number one, it's peddled by this hierarchy within the news. And look, black people know. Black people know. They know that there is a cabal in the news. They know that there is a cabal in the Democratic Party. They know that there are leaders in this hierarchy that make these decisions. And they know that there's a lot of young people who ought to be educated better, who ought to be living better lives, who are easily manipulated. This is true across the board. But they end up getting tossed up like Black Lives Matter. It's a beautiful pitch, and they identify with it because they say, yes, I'm a black person, my life matters, and I have certain concerns that aren't being addressed. They don't realize the Trojan horse, because you ask a majority of them, they don't want to rip up the nuclear family. Ridiculous, man. Let's see. CF. Oh, hold on a second. James says, Mr. Bannister, I like how you talk about race. You actually seem to care. Others claim that they care about our livelihood, but then support black genocide like abortion and Planned Parenthood. Dude, yes, man. I genuinely do care. I do care. I sit there and I can't help the way or the locations where, no kid can help that. Like if you're raised out in, the sticks, you can't help that. But your life experience, man, and the things, the way that you put yourself out there. I put myself out there. I've traveled. Okay. Not too much outside the United States. I've been to Mexico, not deep, been border towns basically, which is not, I don't want to even claim it's very representative. But I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, I've been to England, I've been to Wales, So I've been to these places, but I've been to places in my life within the States that have really broadened my understanding of different cultures and what culture means to different cultures, right? What race means to different people. I learned that not only kind of in the predominantly white schools that I grew up in, but also the fact that when I went to Christ for the Nations, that was literally a place where there were tons of people from different countries. And I was an RA, so I had to deal with people from all different countries. I asked a lot of questions. I spent time in places that weren't always the most wealthiest in town. I lived in Mankato, kind of a rough part of Mankato. You know, I lived outside Chicago for a minute. Spent time in Chicago. Lived in Dallas. In fact, in the worst part of Dallas, Oak Cliff, straight up representing. Okay, yeah, Oak Cliff. Anybody from Dallas, they'll tell you. You know, I've lived there. Trenton, New Jersey. Lived there. And so I've opened myself. Grand Rapids, Michigan, lived there, and also places like Dorr, man. Dorr is like, you know, white people land. So I've seen it. I've been in those places. My daughter, as I said, I got to share that picture. It's so beautiful. In fact, I would love to have somebody. I'd like to draw it, but you know, maybe somebody who's really good at painting to paint. There are certain pictures of my daughter that I would love to commission somebody to paint. In fact, I got a couple people in mind. You know, but these pictures of my daughter in this room that is just, you know, just a sea of black people, black children, all dressed up for Christmas. They got little antlers. They're all in these uniforms, right? Because the public schools in our town have that. And she's there, and she turns and looks over and has this, kind of perks up for a minute, and it's a beautiful smile. You know, and I sit there, and she had her friends talking to her and everything. And I thought, man, my daughter's like one out of maybe 10 white kids. Maybe. I coached a basketball team. I played basketball. Even when I was older, I'd go to the court, man. I'd play basketball with these guys. We'd talk sports. Even talk basketball cards and stuff. They called me white chocolate. I know I've said that before. You know, like, I haven't played in a long time. I actually injured myself. Because I'm playing people out of my league, man, straight up. But I actually care. I actually care. I even had somebody live in our home for a while. Allowed them to live. In fact, it was a couple months. Nation of Islam. I learned a lot about Nation of Islam during that time. It matters to me. It matters that my religion, the Catholic religion, that we're global, and that we have tons of people in South and Central America, tons of people in Africa, tons of people in Asia. It matters to me. And I'm glad, for the first time in my life, to see that as an emphasis of a campaign and of an administration that is not exploitative like it was with the neocons after the biopsy of 2012. I mean, that was obvious exploitation. Saying, look, you know, there's going to be a whole bunch of these Hispanics coming in. We just need to go get them. It was an ends justifies the means. Maganomics is not that. Populism is not that. Conservatism, in the traditional sense, is not that. That's partisan BS, man. See, dude, it matters to me. CF, Elon Omar is like Mr. Potato Head with defective parts. Yeah, dude, it's true. It's true, dude. A lot of defective parts, man. You know, kind of like the defective thing where it's like you got that modest head covering and yet you're just like, you know, doing a lot of really sexually deviant crap. MMSU, non-related question. What do you think of Taylor Marshall? By the way, he's live right now. Taylor Marshall, I said on Twitter, I think it's long overdue that he invites me on the show, but I really don't know what I would talk about with him, to be honest. Maybe something political. I don't watch him. You know, I did for like a minute, but I kind of felt like, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like it kind of turned into this thing that was like Monday night quarterbacking everything, kind of like a sports talk thing. And it would be kind of shallow sometimes, but it's entertaining. I mean, he's got a huge audience of people. He seems like a nice enough guy. He's a little bit of a knee jerk when it comes to banning. Like, he blocked me on Twitter. And for a video that I made criticizing and just getting in a Twitter spat with, with Gordon, Timothy Gordon. You know, but Timothy Gordon's my friend, by the way. Like, in actual life, like, I care about him. We text each other sometimes. In fact, I gotta let that guy know that we care about him, man. That we really like him a lot. He's a great guy. Great show. Yeah. Great family too, man. He's got an awesome family. His wife is really, really cool. His kids are cool. You know, but as for Taylor Marshall, you know, You know, he blocks people left and right, but when you got that big of an audience, I kind of understand that. You know, but it's weird because I'm part of the meaning of Catholic with Tim Flanders, and Tim Flanders is pretty regular, or at least he was in the past, pretty regular with Taylor Marshall. And I'm thinking, dude, I'm a contributor over here, dude, and I'm pretty dope. I don't really know what your problem is, champ, you know, but I don't know. I don't really like getting involved with any of that stuff. I actually know one of the deacons in town at the Ukrainian Catholic Church that we go to. When we go to Latin Mass in town, diocesan at Sacred Heart. But if we don't have a Latin Mass, we're not serving. Sometimes we go to the Ukrainian Catholic Church. And when we do that, it's the deacon there. He actually went to seminary for a while with the Taylor Marshall. He doesn't have very high thoughts of him, by the way. Does not have a lot of thoughts like that. Let's see. Ailey said, James, last comment reminded me of an amazing interview you showed me of this black woman who was interviewed on YouTube by 3 people. Yeah, man. It was Charlemagne the God or whatever? What is that show called, man? It was the lady that Trump, did he give her a pardon? What was it, man? She's been in jail for a long time. She comes out. She's running for office now. That lady kicks tail. We need to have her on the show for real. For real. She's amazing. In the comments, if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. Yeah. Dude, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's the way they feel, man. It's the way they feel deep down inside. Deep down inside. We're going to talk about this. Look, I feel really badly because I actually know this guy, Levi Russell. He's a great guy. And he wrote, Pope Francis proves himself a pope for the world in a new letter. And, you know, as I was reading this, I realized I haven't read the third encyclical. I'm like, I know it's kind of new, but I actually haven't read it yet. And so, you know, he makes a lot of claims in here. He's supportive, and so am I. I believe in the continuity of the social magisterium. You know, I think that even for all my disagreements that I may have had various degrees with Pope Francis, there's been a number of them that I'm like, you know, I think some of it may be poor decisions, right? Like tweeting or whatever, or the constant barrage of like, hey, talking to a microphone on a plane. I'd say you really don't need to do that. It's not actually helping all the time. Like, it's good to have remarks that are thought out ahead of time, and, you know, doing kind of improv might not be his thing. But at the same time, he's the Pope. Yeah. Yeah. In the commentary says, how can your race be determined by who you vote for? That is just absurd. Exactly. Yeah. But he mentions, he talks about this and how, you know, the Pope has a tendency of actually infuriating the left and the right. And that there are some stuff that the right's like, man, I really like that. And some stuff that the left says, no, that sounds like our kind of thing. And there's a reason for this. And I, you know, as I was going through, I began reading the encyclical. And as I began going through it, I thought, I can see why that happens. But I can also see right away the continuity. Right away. But it's a long one. And I said, in fact, I kind of want to buy it. I want to, instead of just reading it online, he provides, Levi does, this is at the Washington Examiner. By the way, congratulations, buddy. But this encyclical, you can go ahead, it means all brothers. And, you know, it's Pope Francis has drawn both praise and ire from across the political spectrum. But you can actually click on that link, and it will take you over to Vatican.va. And as you can see, I've already started to go through it and do highlighting so that I can study and think it through. But it's pretty long. It's quite long, actually. And so I don't want to go ahead and do it. So we're not going to do that right now. But I promise. And in fact, you know, I've told Levi I want to have him on. He's an important guy, by the way. I care about him a great deal, man. We have kind of a history, kind of like I do with Jonathan here. The manager at the show, manager at the network, the big honcho. See, Brian, did you get the email I sent you about the vocalist from Bad Wolves? Yes, I did. Yeah, that vocalist, that's another one. It's another guy out there talking about MAGA. Black guy talking about MAGA. You know, just another one, dude, I'm telling you. More and more and more and more. People running for office, too. All right. Now, Last thing, we're only gonna do a couple memes. We're only gonna do a couple. Okay. But if you have any memes, make sure to send them PaleocratDiaries@gmail.com. I'm sorry that I went over, guys. I hope you don't care. I hope you don't mind. But hold on a second. Oops. Yeah, that was kind of weird. All right. Let's see here. So, when you are busy at work and people want to tell you a story that has no ending. Okay. Dude, do you feel that way sometimes, guys? I feel that way a lot, actually. You know, I've been around people, and not even just when I'm working, but just around people in general, and they're telling you a story, and they're like really getting into obscure details that in the end it doesn't matter, and you're kind of like, dang, son, like, don't you know, man? There's other things you could do. Have you ever considered the possibility that being quiet is, you know, something you're better at? Retail workers. Mariah Carey's 1994 hit "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Dude, okay, I got this one from one of the listeners. Definitely a good time. Okay, it's true, isn't it, man? Like I like "All I Want for Christmas Is You," but I think I can only like hear it once in a while. But man, I feel badly for these retail workers because they got it on the loop, dude. They got it on a corporate loop, put together with the philosophy of the Nazis. Music. I'm being serious about that, by the way. I'm being serious about that. It all goes back to the Nazis, dude. Spooky music stops when you realize there will be Christmas memes in 1 week. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, that's true, though, isn't it? It's totally true. Corn maze for blondes. I'm blonde, man. Why would you guys do this? We're better, you know, put 2 or 3 out there. We might get, well, put 10 or 12. We might get lost, but 2 or 3 is fine. Let's see. Yeah, one of the comments, I get my cues from Archbishop Vigano and Bishop Snyder. I think that's okay, but sometimes it's, look, I like Vigano as much as the next traddy guy. But number one, he's not the Pope. That's the first thing. We're not sedevacantists. Number two. And number three, sometimes, man, they take stuff a little far. Like, I think that, you know, when the Archbishop was saying, you know, well, he wants to split the church so that then he can get rid of all of these people and the only church that would exist are these people. I'm like, that's a little bit manic, man. And there's no way, like, those are big claims. And I like him, and I share his stuff. I mean, I've done even news reports with I do the voiceover and stuff. I've done 1 or 2 with him and stuff, you know. And I've talked about his letter about the New World Order and everything, and about the deep church and the deep states. I mean, I'm not dogging him at all, but just saying, you know, the Pope is the Pope, you know. And these are major influences in my life. I love Bishop Schneider. I love, you know, all of them. But at the end of the day, the magisterium is a magisterium. Pope Francis, to his credit, has spoken against usury. Can't think of a recent pope who's done that. I could be wrong, but yeah, I wish he stops the off-the-cuff airplane interviews. Look, that's just the way it is, and be grateful for a negative chrism, right? This idea of, you know, keeping the infallibility of the church the way that is, you know, it doesn't apply to his tweets. Well, it doesn't apply to those conversations on planes. Cherie says this is why Christmas time is so stressful, because the music. Yeah, it doesn't help. Fun life hack: carve almonds into teeth. What? Carve almonds into teeth to convince others you're a psychopath, dude. Look at that. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. Skeletons who want to be friends with me. Surprised but excited to be friends with skeletons. That's like the little kid, man. Remember we talked about our little kid? And dude, look at the people on this. Where do they get this picture? Where do they get this, man? Like, all the skeletons are like, whoa. And you're like, is this the Gemini or something? Like, what are they riding? Are they at Cedar Point? And these people are like, whoa, dude, cool mask. Not really. They look like they're terrified. Look like they're terrified. When you're a symbol of Halloween, too, but people only want skeletons. Dude, look at that poor little cat. Look at that poor little cute kitty. Oh, man. Dude, now I just want to go hug a cat. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, but you hug a cat. Most of the cats are on our side. Most of the cats are on our side. When you get married, everyone tells you don't go to bed mad. True, dude. That is actually a very good suggestion. But nobody tells you don't start an argument at 10:30 p.m. Yeah, dude, that can be hard, can it? You know, there are times, I don't know many good reasons to get into an argument at 10:30, but dude, I can imagine it happening, right? I can imagine. Oh. Yeah, dude. Oh. And she's pretty too. I mean, you know what I mean? She's not making it any worse. I mean, she might have some pretty fugly teeth. We won't know. It's like back in the day, you know, the woo, and then you move the face, you move the mask, and it's like, dang, girl, your nose and teeth are jacked. Oh, really badly. But dude, look at the cat. Oh, dude, look at the kitty. Yeah, man. I love fat cats. I got a real fat one. Leftists, feminists, right-wingers. Your new encyclical's making me angry. Pope Francis. Great. Yeah. Dude, I'm serious. That's kind of a little bit true. Me. Rips up my drawing because I messed it up. The guy... What? Okay, yeah. Me. Rips up my drawing because I messed up. The guy I'm tattooing. You're like, oh, what? Dude, look at that face. Look at that face, man. What's that from? It almost looks like the little skeleton guy from Spaceballs. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. That's pretty, dude. That family, man, is pretty ugly, dude. You gotta admit. You put his face all over the place, right? You're gonna end up having, what's his name, dude? I always forget. Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's face on everybody. Dude, that is pretty ugly, man. Pretty ugly. Let's see. Employer pays minimum wage. Employee gives minimum effort. Employer. Well, dude, yeah. Look, guys, there is a point to this. I saw this recently, and I actually got in a conversation about it. And I said, yeah, it's true. Like, you can say, well, I'm giving minimum effort. But minimum effort still has to have it can't be a bare minimum. Because a bare minimum in the minimum wage would be, what, 0? Or a penny. A peso. Here, I'll give you a peso. Give you one of those African dollar bills. That's even worse, I think. And so you say, maybe even the African $1 million bill might actually be worse than the peso. But the thing is that, the minimum wage idea, you still have a minimum. I mean, let's say $7.50, right? In the state, you may be, let's say $8. You have a bare minimum. So there's a bare minimum expectation that the employer would be able to have, that he says, look, your minimum effort kind of sucks and you're out. We're going to end with this one. I'm guessing that this is in response to the reaction to Amy Coney Barrett becoming a Supreme Court justice. All right, super pumped. Awesome. Girls with abortion be like, my body is a temple. Yeah, an Aztec temple. Okay, wow, dude. Oh my gosh, who sent this one? We're gonna have some of these people. They're already mad, right? Some of these crazy feminists. I don't know if they're really tuning into the show. They might be keeping an eye on it, being like, we gotta flag this guy. I keep getting flagged, by the way, but they're all older, so I'm still thinking it's the robot. But they're gonna figure out. They're gonna say, there's a lot of these videos. This guy's saying some pretty controversial stuff, and I go, yes, I do. All right, very, very glad you have joined us. It's been an amazing day. We went over our time. I apologize for that. Sorry, not so sorry. And just make sure to tune in every single weekday. We'll be back tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, 10 to noon. Okay, we are going 10 to noon Eastern time. Okay, so make sure to check that out. And of course, go to PaleocratDiaries.com to subscribe to the show. We post the show every day with timestamps as well as with links to the articles that we discussed. Not to each and every meme, okay, but you can take a screenshot of the memes, right, and crop it and whatnot. You can do that, maybe. It depends on how you're watching it, I guess. But make sure you can subscribe. Of course, become a member for $5 a month. And remember, 100% of those funds go to offset the cost that we've incurred by the sacrifice that we've made, including making the show every day, right? It's fun, but there's a lot of work that goes into this, to send our kids to Sacred Heart Academy. And I think I said yesterday or recently I was going to post a video, and I failed to do it. I'll do it today. I might even do it as its own post so that I don't forget and get it mixed up with another one on my site. So PaleocratDiaries.com for interviews, speeches, and other inquiries. Of course, contact PaleocratDiaries at gmail.com, as well as sending memes and articles. We're always interested in that. And today I will also be sharing the newest episode of Paleo Cheese, the podcast. We talk about things ranging from movies and books to just regular stuff, man, like the death of malls, food, greatest albums of all time, things like that. All weather friends, what it's like to be friends with those you disagree with. And so really great time. We have some really great interviews too. And in fact, I want to thank everybody because our recent episode is already over. It's already the third most watched episode that we've ever had. And it's soon to be the second. And so we're really excited about that. More and more people every single week are checking that out. All right, everybody. Very glad. Again, super pumped up. And remember, until next time, I salute you and say, never give up. Keep on smiling and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.